planted.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to episode 25 of SpikeTalk. It's been, what, a couple of weeks, boys? I don't know, bro. We got Frost and Steve here. No special guest today. We've been all over the place in this offseason. Frost, you've played in multiple events, right? Or maybe just one event, right?
Two.
Oh, two events, yeah. So you played in multiple events, and, you know, I got the privilege of watching some NA events. It's been crazy, dude. I mean, that Sen City event, we're going to get to that. That was a really good showing from NRG. But first, I just want to talk about, you know, some of the stuff that's been happening around the scene, some of these roster moves and whatnot. I kind of want to just start off with Vanity retiring from Valorant, which is, I mean, kind of,
he's going to
I don't
CS.
think he needed to, but like, this all leads back to the state of tier 2. It's just not good enough to want to stay in the game. You know, I mean, like, why give it another run when you don't even know if you're going to still play? So we're seeing effects of tier 1 players. You know, Vanity, say what you want about him, but multiple times he's been in and out of tier 1. And I don't even think his IGLing was that bad, honestly. If you really watched like that Cloud9 team play last year, if you watch the IGLing and the macro, like, he actually set up the early rounds really well, and it just kind of came down to like choking in the mid or late round. So like, I don't even think it was like mainly him or that he's a bad IGL or anything like that. But it just goes to show that like tier 2 is just not sustainable at all. And like, he would much rather fucking stream, play CS, and try to make another run at that than a game that he's already been pro in for like, I don't know, since it's been out pretty much. Or I guess he started a little bit late, but it's kind of crazy, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not very familiar with him on a personal level, but I think the point you make about professional players now not finding value in tier 2 and potentially going to the CS or even deadlock, I think that's something Riot cannot ignore. But I'm not really sure that they care because I feel like there's just so many other things going on in their. You can tell sort of that tier 1 is their real vision, and tier 2 they just don't know how or what to do. Now, part of that goes back to what we've talked about all the time. You know, they have a bunch of MBAs and a bunch of non-competitive people. So obviously, I imagine it'll be very hard to understand this life if you don't actually come from it. But given the state of the economy too, I'm sure scaling back cost means you have to be very innovative and creative. And, you know, it's hard. It's expensive. So, yeah, this shit's bad. On a personal level,
that's the best way to say it. Yeah.
Wish him the best.
This
I
shit's
guess.
bad.
yeah. Just wish him wish him the best. Unfortunate, obviously, that he's no longer in the league. Happy that he's going to do what he wants. Kind of agree with you that he should still be able to have a career here if he wanted one, but you know, unlucky.
Unlucko, bucko.
Unlucko, bucko.
I want to talk about your off-season events that you've done, because, you know, we talked about it on the show that, you know, you were planning on, you know, maybe taking like a month off, which you did, and you're gonna lock the fuck in and you're gonna go hard, and that's what you guys have been doing. I mean, you've already played 2 events. You're gonna be playing in a third. That's announced, right? Is that announced?
Yeah.
You're one of the teams. Yeah. So like,
bro, my GM almost trolled me. Me and Dohun were talking, and like, he was trying to sign us up for 5. He's like, nah, man, I need 5 because we need to do these other 2. And I'm like, no. So luckily, things didn't work out, and like, we avoided them. But dude, we almost did 5. 3 is, I think, still a lot. But
3's a lot, bro.
It's certainly something that, you know, it's okay. And the org needed one of them, the last one. And I was like, yeah, sure. We did the Red Bull thing because the Japan partners knew someone from Talon, and we're like, hey, you know, Primmie. So we did that, obviously. But the Japan one, or sorry, the Japan one created another tournament. If you want it, you go to Berlin in November.
Yeah.
And we just chose to, you know, run experiments during that tournament, and you know, we had Primmie on Sentinel. We still have, you'll probably see him on controller in this off season. He's still deciding on what he is going to play as a professional. I believe I've talked to you about this. I think I brought this up on the show. If I have not, then we've talked about it personally in real life, where I basically told you he deserves the right to choose what he's going to play as a pro. And even though I'm coaching him now, even if I may think he's better at one thing today, I'm not going to coach him forever. Yeah. So he should, go where his heart is, where his passion is, because he'll ultimately get the best out of it. Yeah.
Tell him to grow a pair, bro. Play some duelist and do what he's doing in his montage YouTube videos to all the people in VCT, bro. Yeah. If he can do it there's no reason he can't do it in VCT. Straight up, bro. Straight up.
Fair. I'm not going to argue this, and I know he knows this, but,
Tell him to grow up. Tell him to grow the fuck up.
It's just hard because when I'll just say this very honestly. Obviously, Governor mechanically is not Primmie. But Governor is the superior duelist player. And you will understand what I mean when I say it because you played it.
He's good, bro. When he was subbing in for the TSM scrims for us and he was on duelist, like, I was surprised because I thought he was going to be a lot more passive because he wasn't playing duelist as often. But it was cool seeing him still have that confidence and that swagger, because you need that on a duelist. You got to have that, that little bit of X factor. Even if you're like not as talented as some of the other duelists, you still got to be confident enough to make those plays.
Yeah, and Governor's a mixture of like high game IQ and, pretty much just no fear. And Primmie is still green. So, at Champs, that was not the best version of Primmie. That's not even the Primmie I get in practice and scrims. But that's the first big event. And then it's like, okay, do we throw him in it again for the season? Or do we have a guy we know can play at the tier 1 level, right? And then make him fit. So we are, as a group, trying to figure that out. But the truth is, we're all trying to do the best for him. Because the fact is, he's Talon's franchise player.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He would be any.
I've been telling you.
He would be any team's franchise player, straight up, bro.
No, for sure.
That's a crazy player, man.
So we're trying to do the best thing for him. So we're gonna experiment with him on controller. He played the Japanese tournament, the Red Bull event on Sentinel.
Yeah.
The Korean event we went to, he played duelist. So,
dude, and you guys were putting foot and ass on DRX, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
and I know you're happy
guys,
about that, brother. I know you're cheesed, bro.
No.
By the way, a little side tangent.
That?
What were DRX thinking when they? I don't know. Maybe I just don't see the vision, bro. Maybe I just don't see it yet. Maybe
Primmie has his own vision.
Maybe they're gonna be the best. Maybe they're gonna be the best, and I'm gonna eat my words.
Yeah.
But like, brother, you had so many good players. You performed the best out of like any other Korean team. At Champs. I mean, keep in mind it was kind of a lucky run because Genji got finessed by Sentinels.
We threw too, but
Genji got finessed by Sentinels.
No, but it's true what you're saying. Yes, they had the best results, and whatever.
And you botched the roster when you already botched the roster. Like, brother, come on, man. Like, we can't just keep throwing new players in, and like, especially I know it's off season, but they looked lost, brother. They look lost. Mako didn't look... Dude, Mako looked like a shell of a man against you guys. Like, what happened to him, bro?
I mean...
What do you mean you're not going there? Brother, listen, you didn't have to. The guy literally had the same score line in a BO1 that he had in a BO2. Brother, like...
Yeah, listen, I get it, bro.
Went 12 and 17 on the Haven match that you guys played. By the way, Primmie didn't even go nuclear in that game.
No.
Gov
actually, bro. Gov.
Yeah, Gov.
Bro, Gov started, I believe, both games against them 11-2 or something.
Yeah.
Like he found his groove.
And then hold on, and then Mako, and then in the second time you guys faced him in the BO3, he goes 19 and 29. Like, brother, I'm sorry. That was the franchise player, right? Like quote unquote, like from the start of DRX, right? It was Mako. Like everyone's talking hella hype. Now he's IGLing, and he's IGLing
unlucky.
And he's IGLing somewhat like tier 2 talent that like I've never even heard of in my life.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm not like a part of the APAC scene in that way. Like I'm sure these players
No,
probably
I'm
made
sure
a name for themselves.
A lot of people felt the way that you felt. I was getting a lot of messages too. look, on a personal level, I'm not an off-season warrior, so it doesn't matter how well we do here. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
I can't wait for the regular season, though, is what I'll say against everybody and anybody. DRX, obviously, yeah. Look, Leviathan, Freeing, Hyunmin. Well, Leviathan and Freeing are kind of newer, right? I've heard about Hyunmin. I believe he came from the academy, or no, he played for Crest before, which we ended up playing in another tournament. I think it was
Crest Gaming was the last time. So he's actually from Japan, bro. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no. He's a Korean, but he played in Japan.
No, yeah,
or
that's
he played for like a Japanese order. But yeah, I mean, they're young. They're gonna get it as the season picks up. To your point, you don't know what he's doing. I'm sure many people feel that way. However, I mean, people said the same shit about me with my roster, right? So it is what it is. I am just waiting for the regular season, because this off season, I'm not about to go over off season training, because that's really what this shit was. Now, if this is just us training and we can do this, I'm very excited for the prospects in the regular season. I'm sure Termy's going to have them ready because of the whole me and Termy thing. Believe me, we will be ready. So you will see a better version of them, I hope, because I don't ever want to be looked at as a bully. So I want them strong, and I want them to get to where they need to get to and all that stuff, because I need it to be a match. But yeah, it was pretty free. I think just our experience and sort of mid-rounding just cooked them. Like I said, props to Gov. Gov put them down. I think so Gov was on Sova, by the way. Sova, which
he's been good on.
I had talked to you about, but just in case, I wasn't sure how it was going to go, so I needed to think about contingencies and what happens if it doesn't work, and what are we doing with these roster moves if we're just moving everybody around, and how does it work? But he found his stride pretty quickly, which I'm kind of happy about. Yeah, I think overall I'm okay with our performance. Me and Cruz had a meeting yesterday, and obviously, most of the time I see our failures and our mistakes. So it's hard to sometimes give your guys their flowers. But I would say I don't think anybody in particular had a bad tournament. I think Ban and, believe it or not, Primmie, even though Primmie's scoreline is good, I think those two are the ones that I'm looking at the most to bounce back, because I was not particularly happy overall with their play. Jitboys, though, you'll like this about Jit. So I was pretty bothered by Jit in the Leviathan match, particularly on Ascent. And because I talked to you about this, and I could say this now because it doesn't matter. Me and him, we had a rough VOD review.
Yeah,
it was not it was not good.
Yeah.
After the season, when we had our kind of breakdown, I basically went to him and was like, buddy, next year you need to evolve. We need more. I need more out of my smokes player, especially on the game IQ front and the sort of managing the game front. Because it's cool if everything's going to be on crws or ban and all that stuff. Yeah, sure. You're a young kid. Technically not his rookie year, but it's really his rookie year. Because his first year, he was wasted. Like I told you, 10-minute VOD reviews. They were doing whatever they wanted. That wasn't even a professional roster, right?
Yeah.
So last year was his first taste of actually being a professional. This year, I basically was like, I need you to do more. I need you to be more. I was actually so happy with Jit, actually, which, I'm sure if you look, because I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure if you look at his stats, they're probably shit. But when I tell you, he made so many calls, think of a player his age as young. Yeah. Him and Primmie are boys. Primmie has now the guy that he could probably play with 5-6 years down the road, because one of them are going to be the IGL of the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that's going to be, But I'm happy that he moved the level. I'm talking like helping in the mid round. I'm talking organizing and reminding us on defense of certain things like, yo, this player has last time he did this, look for this time. I'm gonna play here, microing Primmie so that Primmie could focus on his crosshair when he's not doing anything. I was like, oh. So that's probably what I'm most happy about, even though his scores were trash and it looked like he wasn't even playing the game. He was helping in that front. I think he's good enough. I mean, Jit's good enough, talented enough mechanically and all that stuff. He's going to be fine when it comes to aim and all that shit.
Yeah, and he's also super young. He's only 19.
Yeah, I mean, it was the other shit that I thought, like, fuck, bro. Because it's too much responsibility on the OGs. And you remember that game? We kind of broke it down. You remember when Ban is like trying to organize everybody and an Omen TP's in front of his face and he
can't even play his own game.
He's just like, bro.
He looks like a noob.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Like, that stuff kept happening to us last year because I think we're overly relying on particular people. And it's a conversation I even have with crws about, like, you need to start demanding stuff from the Thai boys. Like, I had a conversation with him. Yo, when you go back to Asia, don't just fucking think this is an off season. Like, you need to get with them, like, go with them in server, talk to them, watch games together, talk about stuff, like, play with them in ranked, agent to agent, match your agents in game, try to, and I can see that for Jit at least, he's beginning to evolve. Because I was
awesome. That's what you wanted.
That
That's
Korean
literally what
tournament,
you wanted.
especially, bro.
Yeah.
That dude, he was basically no disrespect to crws, but he was basically IGLing. Like, not pre-round and not sort of like overarching, but his mid-round, crws on defense. Like, there's a game on Sunset. No. That was
bind, bro. His bind, crws on bind.
No, crws on bind. I'm sorry. It was against I think it was RRQ on Sunset in Japan.
Oh, the first
Yeah, crws is IGLing, but straight up Jit is just like helping like a lot. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And then crws starts shooting. And I think it's a conversation me and crws had in that little meeting yesterday where, like, crws is like, yeah, bro. Because now I'm not thinking for 5 people. Like, another compliment that crws had was towards Gov. Because Gov also was nice because he became like a bomb site leader on his side. So moving a guy with high IQ like that to that position and then moving crws to another position where he can have impact, but he can also call from. If Jit continues this and if Governor continues this, it's nice because now you have like 4 people that are really, functionally can act as IGL and make calls and we can all trust.
Yeah.
And that lessens the load on crws and it hopefully allows him to now look and focus on his crosshair.
Dude. Which,
and
by the way,
he was doing well. Yeah,
that's what everything you just said is what I noticed when I was watching these games. I was like, but I didn't know why it was. I didn't know that it was because Jit and like Gov are stepping up and taking on a bigger load. And also, obviously, Gov, like, I got to play with him. He's pretty vocal. Like, he knows, and he's smart. Like, he knows rotations. He knows good timings on stuff. So I think that's why crws had this crazy freakish performance. It's just, can he keep it up? You know what I mean? Like, he needs to be able to keep that up and not try to, like, be that guy that is the star player on the team, bro. Because you don't need him to be, bro. You don't need him to
and there were times where, if you go back to RQ, and I don't mind talking about this openly because, like, I don't know, like, I'm not helping anybody, but if you go back to that game versus RQ, he didn't buy drone 3 times on attack. You know why? Because he didn't want to go half armor because he wanted to kill somebody.
Yeah, dude.
And those are conversations I had with him after. Like, hey, Ban was pissed one round. Like, motherfucker, you don't have drone? Like, and I went to him afterwards and I was like, what we don't want is for you to start thinking you have to carry. Because I think a little bit of it is, I think he's tired of people disrespecting. And this is a big theme amongst our team. This is also a theme with me where just like, I'm getting tired of the disrespect, and you felt it last year. This is why we did this thing, and you basically from the rip were like, Hector, just be yourself, just don't worry about the bullshit, just like speak your mind in peace. That I started to, because most of the time, even me, crws, we normally have it. We just kind of just like hear it, see it, and just like occupy it. But crws has a lot of fuck you right now because of that. And your point is so valid because what we don't want is him to start forgetting his role so that now it puts it on Jit and Gov and Ban to call. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're the IGL. It is nice that you're able to drop 25 kills against good teams. That's cool. But in my opinion, still, and this is a conversation we had in that meeting yesterday, that's not your job. You have Primmie and Jit and Gov. If you need fragging power, that's a problem. That's
especially with Primmie, Gov, Ban. Even Ban has
right.
That's a whole nother story. Ban on the Jet on Bind. We got to talk about this like at the dinner that we had.
Yeah.
But my God, bro, like his first bloods, man, he was sharp on it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
the rest of it maybe a little rusty on the Jet, which is fine, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, he
it's
was
off
frustrated
season.
about that too. But the thing, and I had to, and again, it goes back to crws and Ban are dealing with the same shit. Everybody is calling for their jobs. Everyone is saying replace crws for sScary. Everyone is saying get Ban out the fucking system. Like he's trash, whatever. They hear it, they feel it. They don't really talk about it much, but you can tell in their gameplay that they feel it because Ban afterwards when we won against Gen G, he's like pissed at his performance. He's like, man, I'll do better next map. I'll do better. It's like, bitch, we won. What are you talking about? You do better next map. Like, and I think it's like, it's the I and me thing, right? It's like it's the I and team thing where he just needs to feel like he's popping off and productive to show that he's good. But in reality, the ultimate goal should be what? To win games. And the first bloods put us in great spots. And then guess what he would do then? He would lead a group or a pack or a pair, and he goes first, dies, gets traded. And you look at that and you go, oh, his Jet is trash. But it's like, what people don't realize is, bro, there was in particular one play where he takes the op, he goes hookah, and he peeks. But before the round, he goes, so we organize ourselves to be in a setup. Ban broke the setup and goes, yo, Jit, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to do this at this time when I tell you. Yeah? Okay. So just staying there. Da-da-da-da. Now, he does it. He peeks. So it's a jump spot into peek. And he peeks. He gets a kill. He immediately goes back. And then Jitboys goes, yo, it's a 5-on-4. We're going to play retake B. Yo, let's rotate. And now you see how it's working. Ban ends up the solo guy, I think, long. Right? And then he transitions when they go A, and then he ends up dying. And it's like, oh, on paper, it looks like terrible, but it's like the round gets into the whole game state because of everything Ban does.
Yep.
If he then loses a 50-50 gamble TPing on the TP, which is part of help side defense, whatever. like it shows up on the stat sheet as a negative play. But when you look at it and review it, it's not a negative play at all. It's literally exactly what you're supposed to do and what you want to be in. It's just unfortunate that he doesn't convert. So then it looks like he dies. And then he dies for a teammate, maybe the next round after that. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the game, you look at the scoreline and it's like, oh, you had like a ass performance. It's like, yeah, but if you had the comms, you would understand he actually controlled the whole pacing of our defense. Yeah. And it's like, these are the things that I think it's hard to articulate to people when they ask you, like, yo, why don't you just pick up sScary for Ban? Or like, why don't you just like get X player for Ban? Or why don't you just get X player for Governor or crws or whatever? And that's the minutia that people miss because, in my opinion at least, Governor, Jit, and Primmie are the trio. Mm. I need very smart,
and
highly
stable,
dependable people.
Yeah, exactly.
To support that. I could go 5 aimers, bro, but then I'm just PRX.
Yeah, and you're not going to out PRX.
No.
Right? Yeah.
So why am I going to do that? Like, so I think that's like the hard part is crws and Ban, I think, whether they want to admit it or not, I can tell as a friend, as a coach, that they feel it. They feel that shit. And they want, and it's my job to be like, stop. you know?
Yeah,
So,
it can be a really good thing though if it's directed in the right way. You know, as long as
Yeah,
they're
for sure.
not in their head and like overcompensating, trying to do too much. You know, it's a good thing because it might light that fire in them to like just do what they absolutely fucking need to do and just be that role player. But when it's their time to shine, like that's what we saw crws doing, right? Like he dropped like 30 on bind. Like it was his time to just go absolutely huge. And I mean, Ban's the player that can do that. I didn't know that crws had that dog in him like that, bro. I didn't know that he had that dog in him. He just needs to keep making sure that he directs that energy in a good way and not like what you said, like not buying utility and etc. Even though, like, you know, now with the controller role that he was playing a little bit more, it's like, okay, he doesn't really need, you know, to have a drone all the time and etc.
Right. Yeah.
He kind of has a little bit more leeway in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that role was like really good for crws, surprisingly. Like he actually looked
No, I do too. I like
he
him
looked
on
awesome on the brim.
I like him on Astra, especially. Like
Yeah.
the good thing about crws is he can play flashes, smokes. He can play initiator now.
Yeah.
So
You
it doesn't matter. I can play him on anything.
You know what you know what I gotta say? Like when we were talking about this at dinner, this exact conversation, and I was like, bro, listen. I was like talking as if, for all the viewers out there, I was talking as if crws was there. Like I was talking to him, but I was talking to you actually, Frost. But I was basically like, yo, we don't need you to drop 30, brother. We don't need you to do that, bro.
We don't.
And also, even if you do, even if you somehow miraculously become like this guy that's dropping 20 bombs every game, whatever, bro, how far do you think that's gonna take you, bro? Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. Like, and that's not a dig to him at all. It's just that they don't have expectations for you. You just need to win, bro. Like if he wants more longevity, it needs to be, yo, this guy was the IGL of this team that won. You know, that's where the star comes from. Because even if you're this crazy star player, you know, I mean, I'll just use myself as an example. I was still dropping bombs, you know? Granted, like before even franchise came out, I was still dropping bombs.
Yeah.
You know? Like, did it matter? Fuck no, because I wasn't that 18-year-old upcomer duelist player.
Exactly.
If I was doing what I was doing, but I was 18 years old in this game, there's no doubt in my mind I would have had everybody like fucking yoinking me, pulling me sideways, everything like that.
Agreed.
The only way that he can keep longevity in his career for where he's at right now is to be that mastermind, you know? Like, I mean, it is what it is, you know, at a certain point. Like, even if you don't feel like you're mechanically worse or whatever it may be, people from the outside in, and that's orgs, that's, you know, coaches, etc., they're going to be looking at that. They're going to be looking at you. Is he a smart player? He's a little bit older, you know? Why should I go for the older player when I can, you know, have somebody that I can mold that's a younger player, etc., that has good mechanics? No, you need to be that smart, stable guy that teams need around those younger players. And you need to lean the fuck into that, which is what you're trying to get them to do in this offseason. Like, yo, make sure these guys are on top of their shit, you know, like make sure you're doing all this, because at the end of the day, you don't know how much longer you have in this league as your age starts getting higher and higher and higher and higher. There's always going to be some young talent that are cracked out of their minds, and they can surpass you. So if you don't have that insane cracked mechanics and potential for organizations to look at you and be like, yo, maybe this could be our next franchise player, or like, you know, we can develop this type of player. You gotta lean into the playing smart and being consistent. And that's all you need to do. You need to play your role good, you know, and somebody that I look at and I can compare to a player that's like that is Ethan, bro. And he still has those moments where he'll just take over a game. I'm not saying you don't need to drop 30. I'm just saying, though, if you look at how Ethan plays the game, bro, he is one of the smartest players that plays his role like just really fluently. Like when does he make mistakes, bro? Like that's the thing. He mitigates his risk taking and goes for the high percentage play most of the time. Leave that shit for the younger bucks, bro. All good, bro. But when you need to step up, you'll have your moment, and that's what you need to do, and you'll execute on it. And that's what he actually did in that second tournament that you guys had, even though you guys couldn't beat Gen G at the end of the day. I was still super impressed, man, like with his performance in general in that tournament.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I agree with everything you said, so I don't really have anything to add. I'll say that it's good for me, at least, that crws is hungry, Band's hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's good that Jit is leveling up. It's good that Peter's acclimating to his role. There's a lot of expectations on next year for us. I don't give a fuck about what anybody else says. We have a ton of expectations now. No, so it's good to see that everybody is focused and driven for that thing for whatever reasons, right? It could be ego, it could be us, it could be whatever. It's good that I see the dog in them. I just need to sometimes like pull back on the leash, I think. So I had a conversation with Cruz about that. Your second point about Ethan, that's why I nicknamed him T2000.
Literally, bro. Literally.
Because I called him a robot because I saw the same thing you saw.
KO, who's also a robot, bro.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said, so it's good.
Oh, yeah. So I guess we could talk about, the Sen City tournament and we can dive into, a new roster that we saw, which was EG. We got to see Sim, and we got to see Ye play, which, dude, Ye, he looks great, man. He looks great.
It's interesting.
He had some good moments.
It's interesting because he's playing other agents, not particularly duelists, but people aren't complaining now about this. It's kind of funny.
It's funny how it all works.
It's funny how that works, huh? Yeah. So
it looks like one of the best vices in the game right now, to be honest. And keep in mind, it's a small pool.
Oh, yes. EG definitely ran Vice better than T1 did from what I saw, for sure. For sure. I think Vice obviously is going to be playable. We are not running her at the moment. If you know, we are running all base comps or all stuff that we've already shown.
Yeah.
So it's
Which
good.
I think more teams need to do, by the way, especially like these newer teams that are putting rosters together. Like going back, and basically what you're saying is you went back to the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Because you already had crazy ass comps, but that's because you were working with the cards you were dealt. But now that you had the time, and this goes back to the conversation about the roster stuff that we were talking about, like what I'm thinking about DRX, they basically had to start over twice already in the last
and that's
6 months. It's been 6 months. They've started over
By
twice.
the way, the guy they replaced made a super team and took their best player to T1. So unlucky how life works, I guess. But anyways,
that's actually insanity, bro. That's insanity, bro.
So I think Ye is showing his versatility, all the work that he put in to become a Sentinel. You can see it coming to fruition.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about because, most people don't know this, and I don't know if Jacob wants me to tell anybody, but unlucky. When Nitro was coming back and Ye was dropped, I put a little scrim group together to kind of help them, basically work on, Ye worked on Raze with me. He worked on mainly Killjoy, but, he started to branch out from this. I'm happy that I can contribute to sort of his development. And now you're seeing those fruit, or like you're seeing that labor bear its fruit.
Yeah.
I hope he becomes the best Sentinel in North America. I think that'll be a great story. I think on a personal level, I said this to you before. I believe I said this on this show, and this is like no disrespect to Gov, but like if Ye went to us, nobody would have thought that he was trash. You know what I'm saying? So it's just people are just, so it's good that he can show that he can play. Still, I think I think the EG roster, solid. There's still one player I'm not sold with, and I'm not going to disrespect them, but pretty good roster. Pretty good roster.
Probably know who you're talking about.
Yeah, pretty good roster though. So I'm happy Jacob gets to explore it. I think they are for sure potentially a dark horse in North America, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And something else I want to talk about before we talk about the actual results of the tournament is what a stark difference playstyles are, like comparing Ye and Apoth. You had and to be fair, from what I heard. And I mean, I'm not in the team. I don't know 100%. This is all rumors and shit. But I heard that Potter made Apoth play the way that he played this whole year, which was like this very old W. I mean, if you watch like any Sunset EG game, this guy was in market within like 30 seconds of the round. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or he was an elbow in 30 seconds in the round, like alone, like just taking like I don't even want to call them 50-50s, bro. Like, because at that point, it might be like a 30-70, bro.
Right.
Like, really, really crazy.
Yeah, because you're not waiting for the action. You're not forcing a rotate off first and then playing.
So it's just it is kind of odd though. Maybe Potter was like, okay, maybe that's not it, and I need like a more stable, like role playing Sentinel. You know, like a person that actually plays the role well. Like, okay, I don't want to say Apop didn't play the role well. My words are bad right now, but I'm just saying.
I know what you mean. Maybe he didn't get to play the role.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't
mean.
think Apop really got to I don't think he really got a chance to like play a normal Sentinel role. You know?
Yeah.
And
yeah, that could be the case. I mean,
I feel bad for him, but at the same time, I'm happy as hell that looks good. Honestly, yeah, I'm happy for him. Duelist wise, Sim had a really rough showing at this event, and everybody was on his ass, bro. Like, I was watching like Tarek's chat. People on the couch were saying it. The whole chat was flaming the hell out of him. Listen, Sim has a lot of potential. I think you need to treat this as almost like how we treated Icy joining G2. You know, like we shouldn't have extremely high expectations for Sim joining this roster. Keep in mind, he's inexperienced. Yeah, he had a good showing, but he has to develop still. You know? Now, that's a whole nother conversation as to why would you go with Sim over Icy? And keep in mind, I'm hella cool with Sim. I think he's a great player. He knows this. It's not a dig to him at all. And I know he believes in himself a lot in his mechanical talent, but maybe Potter just thinks that Sim has more maybe a higher ceiling.
Yep. That's what people do. Maybe potential. Younger, whatever, but the experience matters. And I've coached Sim before for a decent amount of time. He's young, 19, so potentially, nerves got to him, and that may not be his best. Yeah, if they see the potential and think he's going to be a valuable asset in a year or two, and they want to develop him, great.
Yeah.
Sure. Potter certainly has that leeway and runway with EG. People like me have never had long-term security. We don't get to develop players and teams the way that we want.
Yeah,
I got bounced making winter finals of an LCQ and top 4 right before that at a major. So, it is what it is, right? But I mean, I don't really know exactly what their thinking is, but if that's what they want to do, let them do it. But I think, in my opinion, Derek,
he's great,
and Ye should be good enough. I think, look, obviously losing jawgemo fucking sucks. That's, to me, pretty much the world's best duelist. And I know people are, like, I think there's a distinction between the best player in OSPOS and the best duelist. Like, I think people have a hard time when I say these things. They think, like, I flip-flop, because even my players are like, bro, I thought you said this guy. It's like, no. Listen. jawgemo, to me, is the best duelist.
You could play every single duelist, by the way.
Play every
single duelist at the same level. At the same level, and
that's the difference,
it's
right?
insane.
Like, that's the difference. Is even Gov. I think Gov also could play everything. Very flexible.
I agree with
Gov's ISO is not Gov's neon. jawgemo's raise ISO neon, like,
on some real shit. Every single character he could probably play,
right?
Because we've seen him do it on Omen as well.
Yes, and that to me is why I think he's the best duelist, is because you get the most value. Like, even Zekken, right? Like, Zekken destroyed everybody in this tournament, right? I still don't think Zekken is as good a duelist. Now, if you want to argue who I think is the better player, I think Zekken's a better player than jawgemo, and that's even adding the versatility of jawgemo. I think Zekken's peak is still higher than the world champs, and that's no disrespect to jawgemo. But if you put a gun in my head and said pick one, I'm picking Zekken every time, right? And it's only because I think the high of a particular high is higher.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Zekken's peak yet. I think this year,
right.
I think this year,
And it could be the same for jawgemo. I'm not saying he can't
it
get
could
better.
be, it
I'm
could
just
be.
saying that.
But he's already had the
I
highest
think,
achievement.
right? Like an example is, I think jawgemo's the best duelist, and that includes Zekken. But I think Zekken is a better player. I would value Zekken as a player more than jawgemo, and that's only because of peak. That's not because of floor. That's not because of versatility. There are other factors into that. So when I say Aspas is the best player in the world, I genuinely mean he's the best player in the world. But I definitely do not think he's a better duelist than jawgemo. And I think that is a very important distinction that I think everyone in Valorant needs to start making. They start comparing like duelists, like, I don't know, example is like Governor and like Buzz, right? I kept hearing Buzz diff, Buzz diff, Buzz diff. Their roles for their teams are functionally so different.
So different, bro.
I don't even, like, you can't, one is a space creator, one's a playmaker. That's like comparing Jordan to Steve Nash. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, or like, dude, it's just like, and it's hard because I think without the benefit of, you know, being a professional in the league, there's so much nuance if you're just watching and listening to the talent. You miss a lot of this stuff. But I certainly think that, you know, losing Jaw is fucked for EG. You cannot replace that. If your goal is to replace that, you're just done. You're not going to replace that. Your goal has to be to evolve and make something different. Yeah. And, you know, so with what they have already, I think it's good. Adding Ye brings them back stuff
that's facts. That's facts.
So I actually like the roster. I think there's one piece I think needs to be adjusted. But that's what I would do. Not saying it's right or what they should do, but I think they're cooking something and it smells really good. Mm-hmm. Let's see how it tastes. Right?
Yeah. So. I mean, we've seen what Potter can do in terms of developing players as well. I mean, and also giving Derek another chance, seeing how well he's done. I mean, a lot of people were writing Derek off. You weren't one of those because you saw through it the whole time. That's why you guys are good coaches, though. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And obviously, your boy, Superman, Rock.
Oh, like, dude. By the way.
They're chilling, bro. They're chilling.
Superman has been... He just leveled the fuck up, man. I don't know what else to say about it, bro. I think he... You know, I don't know if I spoke about this on the podcast, but when we had the last year of phase, like that shitty year that we had where we got like 6th or 5th or 6th or something in challengers, you know, he wasn't as motivated going into that season. He wasn't really playing the game much. But man, when this guy, when he's motivated to do stuff, he can truly become like a workhorse for you, and he can really pop the fuck off. And I think he's been taking this offseason hella serious. And I think he also, like, when he got the opportunity, even just like when he got the trial with EG this year, you know, going into this year, I mean, I think it just like a flip switched in his head and he's like, yo, I got to do this shit, bro. And he did it, bro. And he told me, I don't know if I'm allowed to leak this, but I'm just going to fucking do it anyway because it's already done. And like he's obviously staying on EG. He trialed for Leviathan, bro. And this guy was dropping 30 bombs, bro. Like 30 bombs. Like straight up 30s. Lev wanted him so bad, bro. They wanted him so bad, but he saw like the roster forming, right, for EG. And he was like, bruh, I think we can really make a run for this. So there's a lot of faith. Like even the players have a lot of faith in this roster.
Yeah, and I agree with him.
And I agree. I'm happy that they're making a run for it. Speaking of faith, I have a lot of faith in NRG right now, bro. They
look good. They look very good.
I talked about this before we went live just now for like 5 minutes. I played against Mata, bro. I played against them fucking every year almost, you know, up until I stopped playing competitive, right? Brother, he was not this good, bro. I swear to God, he was not this good, bro. I don't know what the fuck this guy got on, but he became one of the most sought after duelists for one in the NA. Like everybody wanted him. Like I think he had Fnatic even reaching out to him at some point, which is crazy. You know, like multiple teams were reaching out for this guy. NRG get to scoop him up, and now NRG finally have a duelist player that has that like oomph, you know, that like aggressiveness to them, which they never had before. They never had this. Like, the only time NRG was ever like a really hyper aggressive team was when you had Vic on Neon, because that character makes
on
you
split.
aggressive.
Yeah,
right?
it's what fucked up DRX all the times they played.
But now they got a duelist that's, I mean, he's insane, bro. And if you watch those games, like, he kind of put Zekin in a body bag. But obviously, keep this in mind. It's off season. How much are you really doing? You know, how much do these teams even really have? But I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if I can leak this because
don't get fired. But
I don't think I'm gonna get fired. But they only had a week of practice, bro.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say. They only had a week of practice.
Yeah,
and off-season events.
What you saw was experience,
but still.
No. You just saw experience. So the problem is, if you look at the last duelist they had, the play styles like Ye and Aspas, Mata, and technically speaking, Mata's playing more like Governor. If you looked at it, pretty identical gameplay. The supporting pieces, very similar spots, especially on that Haven, like which we'll talk about in a second. It's the uniqueness of being able to have a strong backline that is very smart, experienced, calm, can redirect, and a very strong front line, which are, mobile, highly skilled, having players like that. I mean, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but like, I guess crws has performed, but typically speaking, when you think of Talon, you don't think of 5 people that can break open a round all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In fairness, NRG kind of has a roster that anybody, because you could say Pujan, like, not going to get too far into the weeds, but like, I think crws mechanically is still different and probably better than FNS. But to say that Pujan can't break open a round is troll. The guy has very clearly demonstrated he could do this for years and years and years and years and years. You don't have to be the best player all the time with the best mechanics. This is what people have a hard time understanding. In my opinion, they have 5 players that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 players that can clean up mistakes.
The roster is
that is hard to do and hard to build and hard to find. And I think that the infusion of more aggressive, mechanically gifted players with the infusion of the experience and calm demeanor and Psalm being a piece of both, like a nice puzzle piece that just goes perfectly slotted in between the two, I think is really nice. And I think you saw that on display. I think you saw the exact opposite from Sentinels, where they are so mechanically gifted, but there's not many tempo switches, and mid-round and late round, they're very weak. And this is where you see the struggling. I think narrate switching positions is also going to be very difficult. I don't know what's the plan there. Why John and him swap?
Yes, but I this is like a pet peeve that I have, but like, obviously we gotta, see the vision through, like we've been talking about. It is just off season. I don't understand.
I mean, they could be trial or like experimenting with us, right? I have Primmie on Sentinel. I have him on smokes, and people are like, yeah. But like, sometimes
Narrate's performance on this flex role in EMEA was fucking absurd.
No, that's fair.
He looked like one of the best flex players.
Remember, though, EMEA is also slower paced, right? More methodical, more macro. Maybe they see his talents more suited to handling the speed and aggression in NA on Sentinel.
It's valid.
Maybe
it's valid.
This could be their logic and thinking. I personally would have kept him on Initiator.
100%.
But because I'm not there and I don't see how it works, I'm obviously going to give them the leeway to know that they just know more shit than I do about this. My instinct would have been to not have my IGL swap, but maybe IGLing at the Sentinel spot is too fucking hard, which is what I've been saying for fucking 5 years.
Yeah. But I'm not going to lie. It's not like John was really struggling with that. I don't think he was by any means struggling IGLing.
Maybe it doesn't look that way per results, but maybe it took so much out of him and it was just so much harder. And maybe he feels like now that Tens is gone, they need more like playmaking ability, and maybe he thinks I have the opportunity to be an IGL that can actually pull people down. Maybe that is our win condition that every single one of us can own. And maybe he thinks that's
he can dictate the pace and like with the pack and stuff.
Right,
like that.
because IGLing from that position is much easier.
It is a lot easier.
Right,
it is a lot easier.
So if you look at it from this perspective, it does make sense. It is still not what I would have done. I would have just basically mandated that, in my opinion, either Zekken or Narrate develop into a more mid-rounder.
That's the crazy thing, though. If you listen to the comms, Narrate's like hella vocal, and he's very assertive when he talks.
Right.
That's the thing about
and he's doing that from Sentinel, which means he's like banned, which means it's gonna get him fucking killed a lot. So
yeah, I mean,
so yeah. I mean, look, they're gonna feel it out. The roster's still good. That roster is top 4.
No, it's fire.
If they just show up to
fire.
Work.
It's fire.
The roster's still good.
It needs time to develop. It's only off season again. It's only off season.
NRG
again.
just played one best of 3, right? So they're not winning champs off this.
They're looking,
but you can
they have a great.
You can see how it works. Also, Verno. This is what I was going to tell you. So I had Hiko, who I thought was a very good A-long defender on Haven. Made very few mistakes. I know you guys like to fucking shit on Spence. I don't know what it is, but like all you Valorant NA pros just like to shit on Spence. But anyways, Verno is probably the best A-long defender on Sova I've ever seen in this game.
He's unbelievable, bro.
Bro,
he hit the fucking
somebody
clip
else,
on me.
Somebody else.
No, he hit the fucking clip on me. You don't remember that clip?
Yeah.
Brother, it was like our last match. And this guy's just Thanos A-long, bro. He gets like an ace or something. Like bro, the last round.
He's the best.
Sitting in the open.
He's the best.
Perfect timing, everything.
He's the best.
I still to this day, and I talk about this all the fucking time, and I'm still going to say it. I've never gotten put down faster than him or Oxy, bro. These two, or like Ospas. Ospas is very fast too. But these two players, and I'm talking about rifle. I'm not talking about op.
No, I know what you mean.
Brother, like, you're just dead, bro. It's like not fucking fair, bro.
I know. So
like you peek them, and if you whiff the headshot, you're dead instantly, bro.
Yeah. And I mean this obviously no disrespect, but like I've seen even Ethan on Sova. Dog water in comparison. Like this is what I'm saying.
Sure.
These are the levels. Like Verno's at such a higher level than the people you anticipate coming out of tier 2.
Oh, 100%, bro.
And even more so, you can see just on static defense, just his zone denial. Like everyone knows the default is basically the moment you get the A space, you rotate off, you go B. Maybe some teams push mid, some teams, shade one more over, and they're now playing heavy side C, off this, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Everyone knows, everyone knows. And with him, it doesn't matter because he can just fucking do things. He can just kill you. He can kill all of you. And it's insane because there's not even a player like this in APAC that does that on Sova. And I'm also including Gov here. Like, it's so different what the North American teams have to deal with in the league. Let's say on Haven in that spot. Whereas in APAC, that spot is traditionally free.
Nobody wants to mess with that.
Nobody could play it like that. Everyone just gets shit on. Every defender just loses A-long. If you look like, and maybe I shouldn't be doing people's jobs for them, but like if you look at all of APAC games, A-long is the easiest thing for the attackers to get.
Kind of was like that for me on phase 2 when we were copying the APAC, like because I told you we kind of mirrored. I think it was Vision Strikers. There's some other team that was really good, like with the double duelist shit. But no, we also copied Vision Striker shit too when we went to just Jet Breach. I would fucking clap on A-long with all that supporting utility. Bro.
It is so free.
And if you're confident, boy.
But in North America, A-long on defense is not free. On your attack, you can't get it. Or at least you have to use more util. You have to use a breach stun plus a Sova, dart, all that stuff.
And sometimes you have to wait for the reclear too. Like, like there's different ways that because we don't want to. We know that if we give A-long, because like, I don't know who started this whole trend of just like taking A-long, like working the map in that aspect of like. Well, I know you start with A control and then you just pivot anywhere else.
No, but that's why I bring that up because
that blueprint
the team that
did
that the most was us on 100 Thieves. He lived there from the start of the game, from the first game we ever coached. That was what we did. That was the first. That was a basic rotation. That's what Spencer would do, and Spencer, in my opinion, was very good at keeping the zone in space, even against oppers. Like he wasn't a free kill.
It's so easy to manipulate rotations once you already have that A space, because now you can work anything. You can work garage,
right?
You can deny info,
right?
Both ways. You can smoke garage window, or you could smoke off the little link right there, break all the util in that bitch, and then force the enemy team to have to re-clear that.
Right.
By the time they're re-clearing it, you're already back all A, because that one player held all that space that you took in the beginning of the game.
And it's such a like no one talked about it. Never heard any analysts, any commentators. They didn't see. No one talked about that Haven game, and no one brought up Verno in a long, or at least I didn't catch it, and I watched a lot of it. Right, so sure, maybe on one of the watch parties, somebody definitely did mention it. But sure, my bad. But I'm talking like on broadcast, actual broadcast. I didn't see it, and I didn't hear it, and I was very surprised because what he was doing might look the same, I guess, on paper, if you look at the minimap. But I'm telling you, it's not the same. You can tell he put the fear of God in them. And that is hard to do because since Spencer wasn't like dominant for the whole of Valorant. Eventually, all of you guys figured it out. And, that's when you would do the breach stun into the dart and then, top smoke. And, the thing is, Verno doesn't give a fuck about this. And that's what's interesting is the same pieces of util that used to basically force the Sova to go back default or basically counter push long or short. Sorry, short. He can decide and say, yeah, good luck, bro. And then peek, kill. And you're like, wait, he did that? And then he'll do it again. But now you're sitting on it and it doesn't matter. Or he could just hide. He'll catch you coming in because you don't know where he is. And it's just like he finds a gap. And I'm just like seeing him overall. And I'm just like, phew. So that to me was, if there was one thing about that to take away, was how good Verno looked on Haven. Like, to me, the start and end of what Haven was Verno.
Yep.
And NRG was not that strong on that map. If Verno doesn't do what he does A-Long, that A-Long shit was ridiculous. And I don't necessarily see this in APAC at all. Not that sort of dominance. I feel like that's like a major advantage NA will have, both playing against and play like. Sorry, yeah, NA will have playing against APAC is. I don't think APAC teams are going to be ready when they see it to handle that until you feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
So for me, knowing what I know now, it's like, oh, maybe Haven. Like, let's say because. I can't say, but let's say we do play them. Now I'm aware of Verno and how much of a dominant lane this is. So now if I play them on Haven, I have to be like, oh shit. But now it's opened me up to, I wonder if he has the same quiet control on other maps. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
he does, bro. He's got mad presence, but
yeah,
I think specifically on Haven, you see it a lot more because that's just where he gets the fucking highlights. But that doesn't mean that he's not doing it on other maps. Maybe he's just not having a million people run into him at the same time.
For sure. But because I saw what I saw this event, it got me to go, oh shit. So now I'm like, especially in their defense, I'm thinking like, wait a minute. Okay. Because normally, if you know a Sova solo, you're going to go after him. That's like literally what you play for. Because his whole kit is not designed around space control.
Yep.
He has an information kit. So
he has like this timing in his brain.
That's what I'm saying. So
he just
So that to me was what I was probably most surprised by and impressed with. It wasn't even that Ethan and FNS looked strong, or that
Mata had a great,
or that Mata had
like the best duelist in that tournament.
Right?
Down.
Yeah. Like I saw the.
Kind of gives me Primmie vibes, low key, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I felt Mata more, actually, obviously on Bind, because Bind's such a simple map. But on Haven, I don't know. There was just something about it. It was immediately what drew me and what caught me. And then I just hyper focused. And when I was hyper focused, because remember, I played Jussie Vash. And Vash, Haven has been his stomping grounds in APAC forever. And Long, when I was there with them on Secret, he was very similar. On Attack, too, always going long, sitting in cubby, looking at the heaven spot. He would just own everybody. But Verno is a league above that. And that to me was like, damn. Okay. And that's tournament 1.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, yeah, their first tournament as a fucking squad.
Yeah, it was
phenomenal, man.
Crazy work.
Even FNS had dude, everyone giving this guy so much shit about his mechanics, etc., etc. Homie look great, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
great.
It's something about people just don't realize the smarter you are, the more experienced you are, the slower the game is, which means you don't need those mechanics as much. When you're like, you need the mechanics because, oh shit, your crosshairs are slightly out of place and you have to like course correct. But for somebody like that, he just knows silver drone. Okay, there's a timing coming. Wait. Okay, no, they're too late. Look at the mini map, blah, blah, blah. Like he doesn't get caught like Bandit, for instance, that one time, right? Like, because he's gone through that, so many reps, so many times of like, kind of like knowing. I'm not surprised by that. Yeah. I'm genuinely not surprised by that. But yeah, I mean, they look good. I was surprised at the ass beating that they gave Sentinels, though. Straight up, that was I
was very.
I'm gonna admit, definitely did not think it would go that way.
Nah, I thought it was gonna be like.
Thought it would be closer.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be competitive for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So did I.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it going that way. I was happy it did, though. I mean, it is what it is.
Crazy.
I'm sure the Sentinels fans did not, though. You get bounced in your own Sen City tournament like that. That's tough.
It was such a wash, too. But again, off season, not a lot of this shit matters. Everybody keep that in mind. It's not the final form for any of these teams. I mean,
no.
Some of the teams that look amazing, bro. They might even fall the fuck off. I don't think that's gonna happen with NRG. I don't think that NRG is gonna be the most dominant team in the league going into next year, but I think they're gonna be like top 5 for sure. Yeah. I can definitely see them being top 5.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. I think Sentinel's also going to be good. Like I think those two should walk into a top 4. If they're going to be top 2, though, it's not going to be easy. But yeah, surprisingly, I think the North American teams are the ones that are really going to fight for top 4. I think Lev could. We'll talk about that later.
Okay, but
the Brazilian teams are.
Yeah, that's not
that league. Like I think APAC is far more competitive, in my opinion, than North America, and the reason is your bottom teams in APAC are not actually like terrible, right? Like
yeah. It's more balanced.
The quality
across the
drop
board.
off.
It's more balanced across the board.
Insane, bro. And I know I say that, and we have DFM, but DFM beat T1, and T1 made Shanghai.
Yep.
Like,
no. In APAC, it truly does feel like anybody can actually beat everybody. Like, yeah. And everybody says that. Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
Every pro will be like, yeah, anybody can beat anybody, but truly in APAC. Like you just don't know. Like right. At what like I don't know if it's the mechanical skill or something. At some point, any team can just fucking shoot straight and sit you the fuck down, and you're like, oh, fuck.
No, for sure.
Or I feel like it's less likely to happen in an A. Yeah. Even look at how close EMEA was last year,
EMEA is the closest.
Remember how close that was? Oh my god.
Outside of Fnatic, EMEA 2 through 11. Well, I guess now it's 12, right? Yeah. So, but 2 through 11 is way closer than APAC. So it's like, it's here. Like the parity in EMEA is much closer. APAC, I think, is slightly closer, but there's still some decent gaps. NA, I think there's just a chasm of skill between the top 4 and the bottom 4. It's like, fuck. So I think that one is like really bad. So I just can't see these two. The reason I bring that up is just because I just can't see these two, even if they have a bad year, going that bad.
I don't know. No, there's no way.
Like what happened to NRG last year was an abomination, and I think We're hearing it now, but you're just seeing it that like no one was on the same page and nobody really gave a fuck. They say they did, but they clearly didn't.
And
you can hear it from all the back and forth.
Remember what I said?
Yeah.
What I said?
Yeah,
I don't know what SpikeTalk we did, but I remember I talked about the trials that I had, and it just felt like when I was in there, nobody was fucking trying, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody was fucking trying. And then like,
and it bit them in the ass. I don't think that's going to happen again.
No. There's no way. There's no way.
That's why I think they walk into top 4.
Especially if this truly is John's last year.
Yeah.
If that's the case, truly, which I mean, he's standing by it. But if it is, he's gonna go all out. He's gonna give this all he's got, and
he should.
I've seen it, bro. Like they're he is grinding, bro.
He should. He should.
Grinding.
And I'm glad, and I look forward to seeing that team.
Yeah, and this is why it's good to have players like Mata and Verno coming from tier 2 that are like high up in tier 2, because these motherfuckers are hungry to win, bro. Like that's gonna seep into everybody, because sometimes, and like I've been around esports, you've been around esports for a while. Sometimes when you get that roster that's done it all already, or like players that have already been accomplished as hell, they just slack off, or they get unmotivated. They kind of forget like all the work they put in to get to that point.
Yeah.
Which is why also when I think about a player like Ethan, I'm so impressed, because this guy, people like need to remember, this guy won a major in CS as well and came over to another game and won a major in this game, bro.
Yeah.
Like he is just fucking, he's an animal, dog. Like this guy is a winner, bro. Like he's just a winner, bro.
He's
and it's because he doesn't lose that dog though. Like he's fuck, man.
No, he's good,
man. Man, Ethan's such a good player, bro. I gotta get his dick out of my mouth, bro. But
no, it's okay.
But yeah, let's
he is that good. Like he's that solid for sure.
Right.
Like he probably wouldn't be anyone, and this is no disrespect to him. This is just I think how it is. He probably wouldn't be like we did a fantasy draft. Let's say we put it together. Let's say we should actually do this one day. Like you should bring your talent, like the NA talent of like casters and like analysts. You should do a fantasy draft for like 12 people of all the North American players. I guarantee you Ethan will not be anyone's first pick. Why? Simply because I think the role he plays. I guarantee you he'll be like half the league's second pick.
Yeah, I guarantee.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah,
100%. Ospas, jawgemo,
or like IGLs.
But
and
then, the moment the second pick comes around, everyone's like, okay, now I need a support player at the top. That's just the nature of what it is. Like technically speaking, he's a wide receiver. If you did like an NFL draft, like he'll be a wideout. He's not gonna be a quarterback. He's gonna be a wideout. Like
he's nasty.
Yeah. So.
All right.
I should have said running back, but who cares? Whatever.
All good. Well, we had the Vitality news, stacked roster. I feel like we talked about that a lot already, right?
Yeah, but now it's
we got the whole roster now, eh? We got Durka, Les, Trex, who's the GOAT. You want to talk about Sova players?
Yeah, he dispatched us when we played them.
I mean,
he's the only reason why we lost to him.
For me, it's him, Leo, and Verno that are like probably the best Sova players in the game, hands down. I think Derek could be put up there.
Maybe, yeah, for sure. But I still think Chronicle. I know he's not. Chronicle is still. Don't even sleep. Chronicle is still. I understand what you're saying.
I've been hearing some things about him though that it's been a little bit rough. Been a little bit rough for him.
Maybe.
But then again, like I don't know where I'm hearing these things. It could just be some fucking bullshit, But you're right about Chronicle.
No, you're right. But I'm saying on tape.
Yeah, he's nice.
I still think Chronicle is like. Yeah, maybe he could have lost his touch, all that stuff. That's probably where I don't have him every day. But from what he's put on film that I can see, I would still be confident in being able to put him in there. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's incorrect. Who knows?
Find out.
Yeah, no. But those guys you mentioned are
Vitality's going to be
incredible.
The only thing that Vitality has to worry about is them getting in the way of themselves. This is what happens when super teams are formed. And that's what we saw with NRG, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
Is that a super team though? Like
I think it is, bro. I mean, you got Durka, who's
names,
been on Fnatic
but the names don't mean anything, in my opinion, because none of them.
There's nobody telling me he's not a super team, bro.
No. Because like, if you think of it, none of them are actually like all-stars. Like, let's actually break that.
You don't think Les was an all-star or Durka was an all-star at one point?
First off, I have intimate knowledge about Les, right? So let me just say that as good of a player as he is, especially when it comes to aiming down sights, right? There's much to be desired on the util side, the macro side. Let's just put it that way. So if we're gonna go that he's like, you know, the import that's a superstar and all that stuff, okay. But I think phenomenal player mechanically, but his mechanics and his game IQ are not equal. They're not. And if you think so, that's interesting. I don't. Especially when I look on film and having intimate knowledge from playing against them for many years, but specifically most recently, remember, game planning against him on Furia, you know, as coach, which we should probably talk about that because, like, anyways, yeah. I coached Furia, which people seem to fucking forget as if, like, that didn't happen. But anyways, yeah, so, like, this is what I'm saying. Okay, Safe. You know Safe's good, has always been good. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say Safe is like the best player even on most of the teams he's on. For instance, when he was with Liquid, it was by far Nats first, then Biempi, then Safe. And this is not, I'm not even trying to hate. This is not hating as a player. I'm just saying that the pressure to put on them to say that they're a super team, I think is a misnomer because really what they are is I think, a shrewdly constructed roster, right? But it's not like, in my opinion, NRG last year. I understood why NRG was a super team last year because you took two players that won a world championship and put them with three players, that made second the year before that, if you remember. Right?
Yeah.
I think that, to me, when I think super team, that's why that's a super team. Right? And I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm just saying if you look at the accomplishments of all these players and you look at the holes and the gaps that they have as players, I don't know if you want to put the pressure on them by calling them a super team. I think they are a very good roster. But
the problem is they have that pressure though because of the names though. Because of the names, they have that pressure.
Yeah,
like I see what you're saying because you have like you're in it. You know what I mean? And you have experience playing against all these players. You know, even fucking Safe. I'm pretty sure you have like a good understanding of who he is as a player as well.
Yeah,
just because of the relationship with Nats and everything over the summer, right? So,
and I like him as a dude. I'm really not trying to hate. I'm just
from the outside in, though, when you look at this roster and you look at like a player like Les, who you know is a major winner as well. You look at Durka. Has Durka won a champs?
No, no. Fnatic just won Lock-In,
but
and
they've won a ton of
championship.
Even though they've won a ton of
but it's fine,
right?
Yeah,
I mean, Durka. I mean, at some point, everyone was like, "This guy is." He's him.
Right, but no disrespect, though. Just think of it again. They've never even been the best players on their teams. This is the point I'm trying to make. Les was not the best player on... He was not. Like, we all know.
I don't know.
When he was playing with Aspas, Aspas was the best player.
At some point, Durka was like the best player
was
on that
always respected and always looked at as like,
bro,
oh, fuck, for sure. But...
I'm thinking those icebox days, bro. Like,
right. But are you going to tell me that when Alpha was there, Durka was always considered their best player? I would argue that most people said Alpha was their best player.
I think at first, here's the thing. I think Durka was the best player until Alpha got developed and like
sure. So he had a
you know what I mean?
Window. No,
yeah,
fair,
but he still was at some point.
I will give you that. I'm not.
But I think you're right. Because now you would think of like Leo or Alpha now,
right?
Yes.
And when you go down the list,
I could see that.
Even Trex came out of nowhere. But before that, what was it? He didn't have like I feel like Trex's coming out party was last year. Right? So you have a hot player, a hot shot coming in. Then you have Les, and you have Durka, Safe. Now, when I put it in that context, I hope you better understand me now. This is why I don't think that's a super team. Super teams, the normal implication is when you put the best players together from make a super team. This is not that. This is just in my opinion, well-constructed roster of very talented players. Yeah, for sure.
It could be a really good team.
And if we're being honest, I think this team's going to be better than NRG last year, and that was the super team.
Oh, 100%.
This is what I'm saying. Like I'm actually not trying to diminish what they've done. I am merely trying to point out that my expectation of them is not that.
It's not the fucking
team.
Roof. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
I don't look at them as the best players in the EMEA coming together like Ultron or Voltron.
It's really good players getting together.
Dope roster. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
they're good players. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I can get behind that a bit. And honestly, that's the way that they need to think about it too, because if they do put those expectations on themselves that they are supposed to be the best team.
No, for sure.
It can go south.
And I'm very sensitive to that because I'm fucking tired of people telling me, like 100 Ds, oh, you guys should win everything. Da-da-da-da. I know what the expectations are like. So, I like to... Now, I'm also no coward. I put the pressure on my talent team last year. I'm putting it on us again this year. So it's not like I'm trying to run from the pressure and I want to, them to avoid all the pressure either. No, that's a fucking good roster. That roster should do shit. I don't think they should be looked at as, let's say, the favorites over Fnatic at the moment, in my opinion. I don't look at them as a super team. I just look at them as a very strong roster that was put together. In the same way that I think, I don't know if you feel this way, you'll tell me. Sentinels last year, you could argue, is a closer super team. It's closer to a super team than this Vitality this year.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, actually.
But then Sentinels this year is not a fucking super team.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't know, bro.
To me, Sentinels this year is a lot like this roster now. They're just, good pickups,
so,
solid unit.
But the thing is like Bang is probably one of the best controllers, bro.
Sure, but Bang was not the best.
Probably one of the best controllers. But again,
goes back to, what's the definition? Bang was not the best player on 100 Thieves.
I don't know, bro. I would argue that, though.
I love Bang.
Who's the best 100
I wanted Bang since 2020.
Yeah, so who was the best 100 Thieves, though?
It has to be Cryo.
Brother, you do. All right, listen, I love Cryo, and I.
It has to be, though.
Brother, there's... Can it be? How? Bro, the guy went from... All right, listen, the guy went from playing one style of duelist to, which was, a very passive style.
Uh-huh.
But, he still had Bang on that team that was dropping bombs the whole fucking time. And then what happened the next year? Cryo got a little bit more alpha, but Bang was still there. And also, Bang's performance in this tournament was fucking surreal. He's still... Bro, I think Bang... And this is so funny that I'm saying this because I remember there's a clip that went viral when I was, on my Schmeeg shit. And I was like, yo, I don't get why Bang is on this team, whatever the fuck it was, right? Like why did TSM pick up Bang? And it was this big-ass fucking meme.
Yeah.
But I'm not capping, bro. This guy... is fucking phenomenal on I don't know a single other controller that I would rather pick up, bro. I can't name one.
Okay,
right
I'm not. No.
Can you name one right now?
Hold on.
Name a controller player that you would pick up over Bang.
No one. But that's not.
But even internationally, who would you pick up internationally over Bang?
But when you think of 100 Thieves and you think of who is their most important player, it is normally, without question, Cryo. Bang has certainly had performances, and obviously I value him highly as a player.
Bro.
But he's not the guy on that team.
Bro, but
he's not the number one guy.
Bro,
that's all I'm saying.
But he was for sure, bro. I disagreed.
He might have been the people's champ. He might have been somebody me and you highly value. But on 100 Thieves, no one is going, yo, Cryo, you need to carry me. There's only one guy who has that expectation on him. And it's not just Duelist, because on Liquid, you have a Sentinel player that is the carry me. You know what I'm saying? This is what I mean. And if we're going to be even more honest, Sentinels last year, you know who was the carry? Tens.
Yes.
And that's a controller player. But what I'm saying is,
the fuck off, I would agree.
Bang's responsibility is not that. Bang's responsibility is zone control and I think more macro-oriented stuff. That was not Tens.
I just think that if you compare mechanics, though, as well, Bang is probably
whoa. Yes, I'm not saying... No, hold on. I'm not saying mechanically... Yeah. Hold on. I'm saying.
Okay. So here's my thing. Okay, I see what you're saying though, because you're saying that Bang wasn't the star of that specific team.
Yeah.
So I
He's
see
not
what
the
you're
guy.
saying, but I actually think that Bang is one of the best controllers in the league, hands down. Like I'm not talking about NA,
but I think
I'm not
those are
even
two
talking about NA.
No, fair.
But
I
it is
think
two
those are
different things.
Different things.
It is two different
because
things. I see what you're
he was not
saying.
responsible for carrying, and he definitely didn't have. In my opinion,
it doesn't mean that he didn't carry.
Right.
This people didn't look at Bang as
but
like,
I don't know.
He needs to be that guy. That
right.
I get what you're saying.
When I didn't get to game plan.
Totally get what you're saying.
For 100 Thieves on Furia because I got fired before that. Right. Yeah. The last game plan I did.
You wouldn't game plan against Bang unless
Bang
it was
is not the guy I'm even looking.
Unless
at
it was Ascent.
Maybe, but like you get my point. You exactly know where I'm going with this.
But yeah,
he's
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
He's not the guy.
I know what you're saying.
And that I think
that's because he's that guy that like you can't really game plan against him because he's gonna do his thing.
Can't stop that motherfucker. Fair. Bro. I mean, okay.
He's gonna perform.
There's certainly an element of an argument that some people are just so good, you don't even try to game plan them. You just skip them and try to stop something else. For instance, me and you talked about this quietly, but when we played Ascend all the way back in Berlin, I attacked Bone Cold. I didn't even worry about CNED. I just did we adopted the anti-CNED. That's what everyone uses now, the like anti this guy. That was literally our whole fucking game plan. So sometimes some people are just so fucking good, you just don't game plan for them. You just find another weakness, you exploit the matchup, and you just say, fuck this guy. I don't give a fuck. He's going to get a his. So certainly, I'm not saying Bang's not that.
I know what you're saying. I'm
not saying that. I'm just saying
I got it.
Super Team, I think Super Team, similar to casual sports,
casually, you get all the star players and you put them together.
Yeah, that is a super team.
It doesn't mean that Bang and Narek aren't fucking phenomenal. And maybe, who knows, maybe a new star will be born. You know? I mean, Narek was the star of that KC team. Actually, if you think about it, him and Martine, right?
Yes, Martine especially. But
it was like they flipped it. It was like either one you could argue was the super star player on that roster.
Another thing that, in my opinion, constitutes a super team thing, aside from everything else we mentioned, and I think this has to be like
the accolades, huh?
But the number one thing, which I talked about a little bit. Remember, 2 champions paired with 3 finalists, right? Like Primmie, if you put Primmie on PRX, that doesn't make them a super team. That makes them a better team.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
When you really like get to the definition of what a super team is and what a star truly is, yes, I agree with what you're saying right now completely.
Yeah. Now maybe after next season, whatever team Primmie goes to, you could say is a super team. But as of right now,
yes,
I think if you did that, I wouldn't even call them a super team. They just got better. Like imagine they replaced, Primmie with something. They're just better. Yes. This is no offense to Ilya. I'm just like throwing his name out there as if like it'll probably be insert Mind Freak or like who gives a fuck who the player is. I'm just saying that's I think how I view that. So that's why I said what I said about that.
I fuck with that. No,
but still a good roster.
I agree. No,
I'm happy for Vitality. This roster, I think,
both of them, Vitality
is legitimate. It begs the question. What happened with Fnatic? I think it was just inevitably how many more third, fourths are you going to go through before you figure out we need something new? And that's probably what happened. They both were sick of each other, not in a bad way, not like fuck you, more like I just want to know what life is like without you to see if I can just do more. And sometimes it's not. Some relationships just naturally come to an end like that, right? You just reach an impasse where you can't. You think there's no way to evolve past where you are, and you're just not all that happy with where you are. And you still can be good friends. You can still end up, in a solid place, but like sometimes you just need more. So it begs the question, like, can he now be the de facto number one? Because in my head, Safe might have, let's say, roster control in theory because he's coming in, but Dirk is certainly the franchise now, right? He has to be. When you think of all those players, he has the most accomplishments, the highest peak.
But it might be, you don't know, because it might be Trux considering like his trajectory.
Oh, because he'll be like Primmie-ish. Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's say, no, that's a bad argument because Aspas won a title. I was going to be like, since Aspas was a free agent and he wanted to go to Asia, what if we picked up Aspas? Is it Primmie's team or is it Aspas' team? But of course, it has to be Aspas' team because he won a world title.
I understand.
So that's a bad that was gonna be a bad analogy, but like I'm trying to think of like one I could have made, like Zekin, right? If I bring over Zekin, whose team is it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's the.
Yeah, I get it.
Is it Durka? Is it him, or is it the guy that is on our team already that was him? Right? So Trex could be. I don't know. That's actually an interesting one.
Right?
I would love to be a fly on the wall when I hear management talk about this because I'm so curious as to like what their 18-month, 36-month plan is. So like I want to know like who's the player on the not touch list, right? Because there's certain players you just don't touch. Like nobody can trade for them, buy them, whatever.
Yeah, because it was safe, right?
Right.
And you would think that, but I think that dynamics is going to switch.
Has to be offense safe. Has to be Trex now for sure. But if you get a Durka, is he the franchise? Is he your franchise for the next 2-year, 3-year one-way? Right?
Oh man,
that's a tough management decision. As a GM, I know what I would pick.
Fuck man,
which I'm not going to say here because unfortunate. But I know what I would do if I was GM. But I'm curious as to what they'll do.
Okay, and I think that if Safe would have stayed on Duelist, he still probably would have been that guy. He still would have been the franchise guy because obviously he's been around every single roster.
Okay.
I think if he stayed Duelist, and then obviously if he stays Duelist, Circuit doesn't join, right? Then he is that guy, right?
Right.
And then Trex would be the next in line.
Yeah.
Because if you do think about it, they did build around these two, right? They did build around Safe and Trex when they were doing this rebuild, and then obviously they kept Kicks, I believe they kept Kicks, and I mean that could just be because you already had Chem with the other two, which is like not a bad thing, but I mean Kicks is not the franchise guy, and that's not a diss to him. He's still gonna be solid.
No, right. It's just like most people don't realize every org has these discussions. Every GM and whoever hired them has these same discussions you and me are having. We're just just like we talked about when we started this whole thing.
How old is
episode
Trex?
25 now? I think Trex is like 20.
I didn't realize how young Durka was though as well though. Like he's only 21, bro.
Yeah, he just looks 90. That's unlucky, bro. I mean, I am 90, so I'm not even hating. I'm just saying like he just looks older. But he's not.
But esports will do that to you, bro.
Trust me, I know, bro. Look at all the white hairs I got. Look, I'm.
Oh, bro, you want to talk about fucking? You want to talk about fucking hair, bro? I'm losing my fucking hair.
I'm triple O.
Shit,
bro. I'm close, bro. I'm close,
my
bro.
God, bro.
I'm close. I'm getting there.
No, it's funny because I remember when I used to be a franchise player too, bro. It's just funny having this conversation.
Well, the thing is,
God.
I don't know on a personal level, if we could touch on that for a second, right? I don't know how you're coping with it because I never had to cope with this because I was never as good. Like in Dota, I was not ever as good as you were. As a matter of fact, I was more like a plug-in player.
Yeah.
Oh, you needed an offlaner. Oh, he's available. Let's just see if he'll like trial. So that's how most of my teams were. And then I got into this other stuff. But like, I've never been where you are. But I'm very curious to like what you're.
I never really like sought after being, the superstar player. It always just seemed to just happen for me, whether that was Crossfire, a little bit in Overwatch, and then obviously I had my run in Valorant. I never like went into it looking to be a franchise player or anything.
Sometimes that shit just happens.
Yeah,
it
would just happen,
fun and shit. Yeah.
But the reason why it would happen is because of the intangibles that came along with having me on your team, bro. I didn't care about fucking stats whatsoever, bro. Obviously, it was nice, getting gassed up when I was dropping bombs and getting these nice ass clips. But in my head, bro, I was never once thinking about, oh, I need to drop 30 this game. I need to do this. I want to be the star of this team. And if you go back and I don't know if they're even available anymore, but if you look at all the interviews that I had during that whole Schmieg run, it was nothing but gas for my teammates because I understood that I would not be able to drop these bombs if I didn't get put in that position by them.
But that comes from experience. But that comes from experience in Overwatch. Most people your age, or most young people in Valorant that had that experience, they don't act like that because they haven't been in a situation. You were already a professional.
It is true,
so
and
you
then
learned how things should go.
And to make it clear for those that don't know my history, in Overwatch, when I first joined the Shock, I was the star franchise player, and I let it get to my head and I got fucking benched real fast for it, bro. Real fucking fast. I don't know if I wouldn't say I was a dickhead, but I had this like big ass ego when I first joined Overwatch League.
Yeah, it's just a lot of confidence, and you didn't know how to like
him.
deal
Brother,
with
I was him, bro.
No,
But
no,
when
no,
we started losing, I realized I wasn't a good teammate. Like, I wasn't a bad teammate, but I wasn't like a good teammate. You know what I mean? Like, I was just kind of like, I could have done more, you know, to help out during that time. But I was younger, and I had to fucking like fight, bro. Like, I had to crawl my way all the way back up to like get a starting spot again, bro. And it was like, bro, that was some real internal searching that a lot of people like probably would have given up on, bro. They probably would have given up in that point. You know what I'm saying? So I think if I didn't have that experience, I don't think I would have been where I was in Valorant for sure. Because for one, I probably would have put way too much pressure on myself to be that star player. You know what I mean? I didn't feel any pressure when that whole shit was happening, even though everybody was like, oh, if babybay doesn't drop 30, they're going to lose. I didn't feel that way, bro, because I knew the reason why I was dropping 30 was because I was doing all the things I needed to do as a fucking, as a player in and out of the game, bro. You know, like gas my teammates up. I made sure I was on top of my shit, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think with what happened to me, I think I just got unlucky, bro. You know what I mean? There was a world in which I joined Optic and maybe I developed a little bit better in terms of, you know, the macro aspect. And it ended up happening. I ended up becoming very intelligent at the game. But if it would have happened while I was doing all that shit, holy fuck, bro. Holy fuck, man. But that's just life.
Well, what's even more unlucky for you on a personal level, and me also, was you don't know this, but so when Cox bought the Atlanta Reign and they were coming in, there's a world where I was GM of that whole project.
Yeah.
So I would have known you then, not knowing we had already had crossings and crossfire. Like, think about just how fucking crazy it is that we found out so after all of these little fucking things. I obviously had nothing to do with the shock. Like, I was never going to go there. Yeah. But the Reign, I even tried to run the Misfits, which we'll talk about another time because Ben Spoon said some hilarious. Well,
they ended up winning eventually.
I'll just tell you now.
Korean to do that.
Yeah, for sure. But then it's not real. Like, that was the whole opposite reason of the over. Anyways, I don't even want to get into it. Someone said, or Ben Spoon told me one time in a meeting, he was like, yo, I appreciate everything you're saying, but, and by the way, this is verbatim. I appreciate everything you're saying, but no one is an expert in that many games, by the way. He actually said this to me, that no one is an expert in this many games. And to this day, I just keep laughing because I'm like, okay, how many more? Like, you already know what the next one is. So it's like, it's just hilarious because it's just like, you know. But yeah, like, this is just a perspective that people have. Like, it was just unfortunate. But, you know, if I would have caught you in the Reign, that means I would have caught you in Valorant, right?
That's
like,
why I was just thinking that. I was just thinking that.
So free.
But honestly, like, now that I know what I know, fuck, man. Like, when we didn't have a coach for the longest time, bro. If we had somebody like you, like, fucking masterminding everything in terms of, like, the way
I tried. Infamous trolled. You should show him this, too. He fucking trolled twice. Infamous troll.
That motherfucker trolled more than twice, bro. Let me just say, that guy dropped the ball on Ethan when we could have gotten Ethan.
That's tough.
And this is no offense to Poach.
Yeah.
But, like, we could have gotten Ethan instead of Poach.
I know. That's a fumble. And I like Poach. Poach knows. Aaron and Poach.
No, Poach was fucking awesome.
Legit players.
He came into the team and did what he needed to do.
Not grabbing Ethan at a time like that.
Major winner, bro. You're talking about a major winner, bro.
Now,
you know what? And again, it's not
and then he
against
went
Poach.
to NRG and was in Siberia because they were fucking dog shit for the longest time. And I'm not going to mention who was there also with them, but like, they didn't do shit. Like, they literally didn't do shit. And it's like, with you, he would have had a chance to not only compete, but he also would have made your roster better.
Can you imagine this guy flashing
you,
for
Superman
me
and him?
Dicey, bro. Bro, we were chamber meta.
Fuck that.
Oh my God.
Superman at the back. Just think of the firepower
He's the clutch
you have
god.
almost every position on that roster right there.
Nah, bro, it's over. That roster would have been so clean because we had Dicey going fucking nuclear. We had me aggressive as shit.
Yep.
Superman clutching everything. You had Kev, who was IGLing like a phenom. Yep. And all Kev the whole time was saying, I just need a fucking mid-rounder. He just needs a mid-rounder. That's it. And who's better than a fucking guy that won a major? Bro, there's no way. There's no way.
Bro, that roster, the only thing you guys really, really, really needed, we talked about this a bunch, but if your macro was as good as your aggressive like
Dude.
mechanics. And they would have been cooked for a little bit.
Bro,
like
for
straight
real,
up.
for real.
They would have been cooked for a little. You guys would have definitely had your run.
Yeah, we
like
would have
Sentinels
fucking
did
won.
before.
We would have made a.
We would have
made a
won
land.
something, I
We would have
think,
made
for
it
sure.
international at least. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Oh, yeah. Free.
It's actually
that's
criminal.
the least of what
Bro,
would
it's
happen.
criminal. I didn't get to play a LAN in this game, man. Fucking LCQ, bro.
That is. Yeah. I make it to winners finals. All of a sudden, we're going online. Unlucky, bro. Unlucky. And then I find out people had our screen. Anyways, it's just tough. Bro.
Oh shit.
Life is hard, bro. But it's just so funny how, all these lessons you learn, and then just the weave of life where like our roads could have connected, and then we find out later. And I think people must think it's odd that you and I ended up doing a podcast, but people don't realize the things that we just talked about now, which ends up leading to how it happens.
We're actually so like connected that like,
it's so.
But we
crazy.
didn't know.
Yeah, we just didn't know, and it's
nutty.
just, and then you find out, and then shit's just much different. So yeah.
All right,
But anyways, good job for Vitality, the non-super team. I guess we could just leave it there.
Yeah. Speaking of franchise players, kaajak is for sure a franchise player. This guy is the next coming of Jesus, from what I've seen. He's
I hear
one of those duelists that can play every single role.
Now that I hear this, I would love to know, like, what's the Primmie scale? Like, is Primmie the bar, or is Primmie just like the term, and now kaajak's the new Primmie? Like, how does this work? Because like I always hear like I'll give an example. GE has one now. They call him the Filipino Primmie. His name's like Patrick Wilson or something. That he changed his name to something I keep forgetting. I'm sorry, but he's on the roster now. But like, what is the scale? Like, I'm just so curious. Like, is it the Zekken scale? Because Zekken was Primmie before Primmie. No,
I think that this guy. So from what I'm hearing, this kaajak guy is just in a league of his own. It kind of reminds me of like Alpha Year. Maybe he's on the Alpha Year scale. That's what I would compare him to. But like also, it'd probably be like Primmie, bro. It'd probably be like it's all the same shit if you think about it, right? Like you have Zekken, you have Alpha Year.
But to me, the skill level is different. Like, and this is no disrespect to Zach. Oh, he's gonna kill me for this. I don't think he cares. Actually, never mind. I mean, he might be salty about it, but he just won't tell me. But Zach, not like that at all. Zekken in Phoenix 1 is what I would attribute Primmie was before we got him. Right? Right? Like, if you think about it, Zekken on that Phoenix 1 team would be the same as Primmie before we picked him up.
I actually don't know about that. I don't know about that, actually, because I feel like...
Okay.
I feel like shit was just different back then. Shit was different back then.
All right, fair. But let's just assume that I'm correct. I could be wrong, but let's just assume I'm correct. No disrespect to Zekken. He's nowhere on that level. He's nowhere where Primmie is. Now, Zekken today and Primmie? Sure. Absolutely. But I'm saying, like, when they come in to the league, like the Zekken that's signed with Xset is nowhere near the player that Primmie was. No. Xset. Because I'm talking about when they come into the league. Because Xset, like, I guess coming to tier 1 is what I meant, but like that's what I mean. Like, Zekken on Xset leveled up to a point where, I mean, you know how I feel about him. I think he's the best in North America, right? But
but the thing is that he had Cryo, who was, I feel like Cryo was like taking more of the shine. Like he was the star player on Xset.
Okay,
like,
fair.
Like, you know what I mean?
Fair,
like
argument,
Zekken was solid. I feel like when
because
Zekken
Primmie came from nowhere, and then right.
That's what I'm saying.
The point where they're
Primmie's
at
like in a class of his own.
Phoenix 1. Yeah, right. Maybe.
Yeah.
But like I was just saying, like if you compare the Phoenix 1 Zekken that I knew with the Primmie that we found, obviously, and then added him, and no disrespect, but I think Primmie's at a much more sophisticated level, and he's a more talented player.
So you know what I think is a better analogy? I actually think like Cryo joining Xset, and like.
Okay, right? Maybe, yeah.
I think that's a better comparison to like Primmie joining Talon.
Right. Okay, yeah. But even Cryo, I like Cryo. Remember, I wanted Cryo and Xander.
Yeah. But bro,
so
did Primmie even play tier 2, bro?
No. This is what I'm saying. That
this is like
came from the streets,
it's
bro.
It's kind of unprecedented.
He came from mom's basement, basically. No disrespect, obviously, mom. I don't know if you.
So then I think Primmie is just in a class of. You know what? Demon 1
Max
was the original Primmie, bro.
But Okay, fair, but not fair.
Because he didn't really play much tier 2. I know he played a little bit, but
he
didn't
did
really
play tier 2. He did play some tournaments. He knocked out Little Airport, but
not a lot.
No. I think your comparison is good.
Yeah.
The only caveat I'll throw is, remember, he did make the 11-man roster. He got to play on EG's reserve.
That is true. And
where they had the 10-man plus the one, the assistant coach that could come play. So he did have time under that. Primmie literally went from mom's basement to playoffs in VCT.
Yeah, there is no other Primmie.
Okay,
there is no other Primmie.
So then Primmie's the scale. Then that's what I was trying to say. So then Kajak's the Primmie scale, but he played tier 2 though.
Kajak's like the alpha year scale. That's the best
alpha year scale. Okay,
because alpha year Turkish player.
Yeah,
came from tier 2, came up, destroyed the fucking league.
Right.
I guess. Yeah, I think that's I would say Primmie's in a league of his own, but Primmie's at the top, bro. And then I'd probably put everybody else like the Zekins, Cryo.
Yeah.
Like,
so like when they came in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, maybe even Mata now. Mata might be up there too.
But Mata had a long tier 2
career. Mata had a long.
That's what I'm saying. Like they have pedigree and time, and you see what the time does. Because look how good Zeka got. I mean, I'm not going to try to continue to glaze it, but you get my point. Mata, look how good Mata looks. Like Verno,
better and better.
Redux too, that no one talks about. Look at all these guys. Martine,
Redux, bro. Redux is gonna be so good, man.
Oh, trust me,
Redux is gonna be so good.
I know, bro. I know. I've been saying. Anyways, but yeah. So I am so curious. So sorry, Fnatic fans. Now we're getting back to it. So now that we have effectively cleared out the scale, I am so curious to see how Kaajak compares to early alpha days, because that's how I'm going to look at it from now. I'm going to constantly compare his impact to alphas. The positions are going to be slightly different.
It is different.
I say that only because...
You got to think about impact, though. That's what we need to think
because about. Alpha had Durka to take the pressure off.
Yes.
That doesn't exist now. Alpha's on Sentinel. Alpha's going to be in fucking Buttfuck Egypt.
Yes, bro. You're
so
right, man.
That's the difference. So Kajak's actually being thrown into the real fire.
You're right. I mean, he's kind of getting... He is the closest thing to Primmie, actually.
Right, yeah.
He actually is.
This is why these scales are important.
In terms of like that fucking pressure on you put in like from the get-go.
So I'm curious as to what it's going to be like. And then skill-wise, I'm wondering if he's at a level above Primmie, at Primmie's level, slightly below, how that looks, how that can work in EMEA, right? Like all that
stuff. What I
stuff.
just thought about, that's also similar, is something, because he came from tier 2 Japan, fucking dropping like 130 to, bro, how the fuck this guy dropping 130 bombs, bro? 130 bombs in series, bro? When I saw this shit, I was like, bro, in my head, instantly, you know what I thought?
Ilya's special, bro.
Bro, you know what I thought?
Yeah.
Instantly, when I saw this shit, I was like, wow, Japan is like the worst region. But then he came and put foot in ass.
I know.
In VCT, and I was like, okay, no, this guy's just fucking him.
I mean, Jemkin came from there too. It's funny, bro. It's just...
Jemkin's nice too.
Yeah.
Jemkin's nice too.
I wonder why. I think it was a socio-political thing. I think because of all the stuff between Russia and Ukraine and how the geopolitics worked out, none of the Russians were basically able to come to America. Like, I wonder if that didn't happen.
Also, like, closer to Asia.
Yeah, but I wonder if that didn't happen, if those guys would have been in NA instead of Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, because could you imagine? Now, I never saw this coming, so I'm not even going to pretend that was the case. But could you imagine if, like, you picked them up or 100 Thieves picked them up? Like, something? Yeah. Like, it would have worked.
Yeah. Dude, if we had him on that fucking...
That's what I'm saying.
On the phase rebuild, holy fuck.
Like, holy fuck, right? So that's where I go with this, like, goddamn.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's tough, too, like switching region. I mean, you know, it's a culture shock, bro.
Yeah,
and like,
but for Russians and Ukrainians, at least, that especially can speak English, it's not that far. Because remember, like, I know this from firsthand.
You worked with, like, Blade and Simple and...
Markeloff, all of them, like...
By the way, it's so cool.
Easiest transition.
You know, I used to watch this guy's like 1.6 like montages, bro.
Marek is the bet, bro. He's the GOAT, bro.
I was so obsessed with this guy because, like, also in Crossfire, when we were playing Crossfire, we all were wannabe 1.6 players, bro.
Right.
We would copy names like fucking D-Born, you know, like all these fucking OG fucking bro. Kogu, brother. You know how many montages of Kogu I watched, bro? I thought this guy was the best opera I ever seen in my fucking life, bro.
Yep.
You know, I wanted to be an opper so bad, but I was never good at it in Crossfire. Which is so funny because like I joined Overwatch, became like a Widowmaker, and then I joined fucking Valorant and became fucking an opper, bro.
The Jet, yeah.
Like a Jet opera. You know what I mean? Like, but like, man, I was just watching like how dominant this guy was on MIBR. Fuck, bro. You know, for this year there was a chance that because you know this because they were looking into Yay and Nitro as a package.
MIBR, yeah.
I had an interview with MIBR with me and Poise potentially being a package with some of the players on that roster. And I was like, dude, how fucking cool would this be? You know, I was such a MIBR fucking fan, bro. And I was telling him I was telling him, I'm like, bro, listen, I used to watch like OG, like 1.6 videos of MIBR, like going back and forth with what team was that with Deborn? What team was that? Was that Complexity?
I do not remember.
No,
I think
no, it wasn't.
No. It wasn't 3D either.
Check 6, maybe? Check 6?
Check 6, probably, yeah.
It might have been like Check 6 at the time. Or EG.
No, 3D happened later.
Oh, no. It was like Complexity or EG, actually, is what it was.
Yeah.
Eborn was on there. I remember them playing against each other, I swear.
No,
or like, you know, them playing Navi and
yeah.
Now you got like fucking Get Right and oh my
Forest.
God, man. Forest, bro.
Yeah.
Forest. Get Right in
Forest.
1.6. Forest in
Good,
1.6. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, bro.
You know, it's kind of crazy. Like, it's not the same. Like, when you think of like 1.6, you look at these players like they're fucking goats. But like, when I think of like CSGO or like, I guess even like Valorant now, there's not a lot of like GOAT level players. You know what I mean? Like,
no
legendary status players. You know what I'm saying?
Most of it is we've seen it before.
Right? Is that so?
It's
These were like the pioneers, huh?
These are like the guys that gave us the vision, and now everyone is doing the thing. It's like, you know, Gov's not going to get credit for it, but like he was Neon because he was running it 3 years ago when no one was running it. And now all the mechanics that he's been using for 3 years, everyone is using now. And now it's like, so the point is, you know, that's just sometimes how life works. We just don't get the credit. The thing that's so sad about Marek is he's so beloved, but he was never able to monetize it.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
and Flipside never got
tough, bro. That happened.
We never got the investment that, and honestly, we should have, bro. When I did that UCLA presentation, I don't know if I did tell you this. We had to submit like our tax returns and shit because like they need to make sure that like everything you say on their Sports and Insights conference isn't bullshit. So whatever you're gonna say, you have to like let them know, and then they have to vet it. So you have to send them the proof of like everything you're gonna say here and why it works the way that it works. Like I had to submit like, I think like tax returns or something. So I had to show them that. F3 wasn't even losing money, bro. Like we were just barely breaking even, but we were not losing real money. All these other teams are losing millions and millions and millions of dollars. We didn't get the investment. The reason I bring that up is because markeloff, I mean, I talked to Blade, you know, because I did the documentary thing.
Yeah.
And like, bro, they would have never left. Like Blade would have been like GM of like CS or coaching. Markeloff would have been like on the marketing side because he has all these connections. Like I'm still shocked people haven't hired Marek because they're just not smart enough. Because most of the people that are old enough to hold the positions in these companies, if they are esports people, they all, like you, know about Markeloff being a 1.6 guy.
Right.
So to me, he would have been, and I mean, I talked to him about this, he was always going to be some sort of marketing or head of marketing at Flipside just because, you know, personable, speaks multiple languages, intelligent. Like he just had to learn the job, which Dana was going to help him do. And once he learned it, easy money. But like, it's just sad because like, I know Marek isn't working in esports and I know like what he wanted to do. Like I'll give you a small example. His dream was to live in America. And we tried to make that happen, but we just couldn't. I don't know if I told you, but there was supposed to be a Simple, Hiko, Markeloff, Blade, World Editor.
Oh yeah, you told me about. Yeah,
we're supposed to live in America in Detroit, and you know, and then that money ended up going to 100 Thieves. Funny enough, from Courtside Ventures, but like their dream was to come here, and they could never accomplish it because of just the way esports went. Mm-hmm. So when you bring up Marek, I feel so bad, especially now that I've spent the time doing the Blade thing. That it's just like, man, I fucking love him too. You would have loved him as a person, bro. He's fucking awesome, bro. But it's just sad because all those OGs never got to build and develop the career that like some of us have. And it's like unfortunate because like people like me are still in esports, but even I almost even I almost got phased out this last season.
Yeah.
I was on my last shot.
Yeah.
Low, right? So it like all that stuff in the past, it's great. But as the new kids coming, no disrespect, I'm just gonna throw his name out there. You think Mata even understands what the fuck Simple did in 2015? Like, or Primmie. You think Primmie has any understanding that Simple was Primmie before Primmie? And how he got to that point? He only knows Simple.
He only knows Simple. He doesn't know the
He doesn't
grind and
realize that,
everything
like,
he went
at one
through.
point, Simple was you, bitch. And
Yeah.
Markeloff was like crws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's the same relationship.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't
crazy.
really understand that. Or I guess it's more Blade is crws, but you get my point. Like, maybe, or Ban is Markeloff. Ban is Markeloff. And Ban and Primmie have a great relationship, by the way, also. Like, I only bring this up now because it triggered something in me. You remember we talked about earlier about like Bando was trying to get replaced? Okay, one of the big things too is one of the person that's kind of responsible, not responsible, but that has a really strong impact on his development is Ban. Primmie's always going to Ban like, yo, how would you do this? How would you do that? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? He's not going to anybody else on the team. He's going to Ban. Ban's first. First on the list if he has a problem. Not even me, which tilts me to no end, by the way.
He don't fuck with you like that, bro.
He doesn't, bro.
He's waiting, bro. He's looking at this in scrims, bro. He's like, yo,
yeah.
He's got 363 more days, bro.
Yeah. So,
and then I'm free. But
right,
dude,
no,
but you know what always happens though with shit like this though is that when they do hit that point, when they start thinking about it and they come to the realization themselves, and this has happened to me multiple times with even like remember how I had like a lot of tough love with previous teammates that I had.
Yeah.
I have yet to have one person like after some time has gone by look back and be like, oh, why were you just a dick to me? They understand that it's like it was character development.
Right. It takes time for them to realize
because they end up doing it themselves to somebody else.
Right. No, for sure.
You know
I've had a
mean?
very
Like,
similar experience. There's probably only one guy that I just don't fuck with and won't fuck with, and that's just how it is. And there's no reason for me to name him. But everyone else, I have the same story. Because you meet people in different places, right? That's what made my transition to Talon difficult for crws, especially because me and this guy were on two different fucking worlds.
Yeah.
But now we're sort of aligned because now he is beginning to look at life and his career the same way I did, which is now that all these motherfuckers are telling him, fuck you. He went from the king of Thailand. Now they're like, replace this bitch. And now he's like,
crazy, right?
Oh, and now he's like where I've been, where now it's like, yo, you need to lock in and focus because these motherfuckers want your job. You just need to focus, like do your thing, win some games, win a championship, and then you buy yourself more time and continue to do the shit that you love and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And now we've kind of like, me and crws hit that spot. I'm sure me and Primmie will hit that too. Like, it's not bad. Like, it's not like Primmie. I don't think Primmie obviously hates my guts or whatever, but you can tell that it's just like he's guarded around me because he's like, who the fuck is this guy, bro? Because to him, he's Primmie. So the people he looks to are like crws and Ban first.
Yeah.
Because those are the guys he knows, understands his life. Primmie don't know shit about me like that. Primmie's never asked me. So he doesn't know, like the conversation with Markeloff. I promise you, Primmie doesn't know who Markeloff is. Primmie doesn't understand what Markeloff did for esports. Primmie doesn't understand what I've done for Marek and the relationship I have with Matt. He doesn't know any of that stuff. He only knows crws, Thailand, Valorant, headshots. Like, that's all he knows. Like, so, yeah, bro. Anyways, we go on to the next topic. Let's go. Let's do this.
All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about this episode is something that you wanted to hit on. So I'm just going to let you take the floor with it, bro. And it's about Boom. And it's about roster changes and teams making roster changes. And I'm kind of going to get my own. Oh, no. There's two things we want to talk about.
Talk to me.
But we'll go with the Boom thing. We don't got to cut anything, Steve. We'll just keep going. But we're going to talk about something last. And you know what it is. But, or if you don't, I'll remind you. But give me your rundown of the Boom shit and why you don't fuck with it. Explain what it is as well.
Okay, so Boom qualified, and I think they got rid of Bee's Knees, I think. I don't remember the exact player, so if I fucked that up, my bad. But they got rid of a player. So I'm tired of seeing these teams ascend and then immediately make a roster change and now put a player in Siberia for another year. And most of the time, that player can't even get on another team in time because teams are already preparing for the next year anyway. So you essentially ruin this guy's life and you prevent him from having a career. And I understand the logic of being the young. This is the thing that bothers me about people when they talk about this shit, because most of them don't even know what the fuck. And I'm mainly targeting the Valorant people that are the talent, because they just don't know shit, and they don't know, right? They only know the things that they've done. Most of them aren't historians or like have known, but like you know, Flipside was that. Flipside was basically, bro. We never had like a super team or the best roster. As a matter of fact, we pretty much always had minimum players. We found Simple early, then he outgrew us and he went other places, and blah blah blah. Everybody knows. Okay, cool. So I know what it's like to be Boom, playing against teams making 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times their salaries. Like I very clearly have spent most of my career doing this. At Talon, we're doing it this year too. Well, most of my players are on minimum salaries. And yet, you got teams making 3, 4 times what we are in the league, sometimes even 5, 6, and unlucky for them, right? So I'm even doing this today. So I don't want to hear this like, oh, yeah, but you don't understand what it's like to ascend and all that. Enough. What I don't like is that you come up, you qualify, and then you immediately break up your roster, or in Boom's case, they didn't break up the whole roster, but you know what I'm talking about. A lot of teams have done that. And then they've like completely had an entirely new team that didn't qualify and all this other stuff. And I think when Boom did it, I'm like, man, that's interesting. I thought that 5, okay. I think that at this point, we should all have a discussion about this shouldn't be allowed, especially if when you qualify, it's pretty much a 1-year ticket now. And we don't need to rehash the specifics, but
yeah,
I think all those players deserve to play it out.
I see what you're saying, but
and there has to be something for that.
I agree with what you're saying, but here's my one thing. This one thing is that what if they wanted to cut this guy from the whole year, but they just they couldn't find anybody better?
Then then you qualified. So that means you were good enough to qualify. Therefore, you should be good enough to give yourself a shot at the league.
What if the player's just like a complete dickhead motherfucker, bro? That you're just like, I cannot. Like
I've been on teams with that people still don't even know. I got real smoke. I have real smoke with someone in Valorant that we had like that today, and most people don't even know who the fuck I'm talking about. That's life. You're going to work with people sometimes you do not like. If you're a professional, you have to learn to coexist.
But here's the thing, is that if you're playing through Tier 2, chances are you're probably not in a professional setting, because there isn't a good ecosystem that's very professional in that way. But this might be a good step. What you're saying right now might be a good step in the right direction to create a more professional setting in Tier 2 to have this type of thing being done. Because the way I think of it, I don't even think, bro, there's orgs that can qualify. There's teams that can qualify that aren't even org.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and that's kind of lame.
What are they really like?
Tier 2 problems.
So this is what I mean. It's not professional in the first place. So I don't even want to call it semi-pro, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I don't even want to if you're a Tier 2 player, and you're not you're not assigned org, I don't even think you should be calling yourself a semi-pro Valorant player. I just don't think I don't think that's there, bro. Unless you're on a paid team, okay, maybe then you can argue, okay, yeah, I'm semi-pro, I'm getting paid. I feel like if you're not getting paid, I don't know if you're semi-pro in the game. You know how games used to have okay.
No. Trust me.
You know what I
mean? I think there's real merit to what you're saying. And
so it's why should they have to abide by any type of rule, though?
Because it's Riot's. So, again, I'm not trying to do Riot's job for them, but at the end of the day, this fucking team had to qualify out of Premier.
Yeah.
If the whole point is Joe to pro, right? 0 to hero, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Period. Because the moment you
would
go
be
from
nice.
Joe to pro, and now 3 of your players are now. I know Boom's only doing it with 1, but my point is, we saw it happen even with G2. We keep seeing this. We know what's happening with Apex. You know, like what the fuck is going on?
You should at least here's what I think.
Oh, I see what you're
It should at least
split, right?
It should at least be a core. This shit that I'm seeing, and I get it, like the orgs. Okay, nah, I don't agree with I don't agree with, like, for example, I think what it was Gentlemates that got rid of the entire fucking roster.
Yeah.
I do not think this should be able to happen, bro. Like, I'm sorry, the org. Yeah, I get they paid the players and gave them like a platform maybe and like helped them get the win, but at the end of the day, the players all won that spot.
Right.
The whole team should not be getting fucking cut. You should at least have to keep the core. And I don't think they're keeping that's not the rule, right? You don't have to keep the core. I think they got rid of 5 fucking players, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm not.
That is not cool.
I'm not
like,
completely
that to
aware
me
of
is
the
not
rules
fucking
specifically.
cool.
I just feel like, as a person that
actually, I don't know, because now I just realized you have to pay to get into the league as well. So now I'm like, fuck. Yeah, now I'm like, fuck, bro.
But Riot has to put a handle on this because it's to me,
shouldn't be able to get rid of 5 players. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be.
To me, you shouldn't be able to get rid of any players because of the whole integrity thing I talked about, which is the whole point is to tell players you're going to go from pro or 0 to hero.
Yeah.
So that team should compete. Now, if the logic is after one split, then you can make a change. Sure, because if you're 0-4,
but you can't do that though. Because you only have 1 year. So what the fuck are you making the change for? Because if you lose, the way that you know how the format is.
Oh, I know.
If you fuck up because of that one player that you wanted to replace because you could have gotten a god.
Yeah, but I think that's the only. But remember, you can still stay in the league by going in this mini tournament or whatever. But I'm just saying, like,
still,
I think that should just be a condition because I'm tired of just think of it from the perspective of the player that got replaced.
I get that, but like, bro, just be better, bro.
Listen, I respect it, but here's
fucking be better, bro.
But here's my counter to that, though. I was good enough to make the league. I should know. I need the league to curb stomp me like DFM before I realize, okay, yeah, I'm not good enough to be in this league. But I deserve the chance to show that I'm in the league because I worked so hard to get here. I have a major problem with that shit. Major fucking problem with that.
I can see that, but you gotta remember, bro, like, even in traditional sports, man, it's not like that. Like, people like that.
No, fair.
You know
but
what I mean?
I'm only saying this because Riot came out and literally carved the whole thing under the whole partnership program, and the whole Ascension thing came from the birth of you can go from ranked to pro.
Yeah, see, I see that.
So if you do that, you should
see that because you have to play
pro.
Premier. Yep. I don't.
If anything, I'm saying Riot, you made that promise to players.
Like the system.
So you need to actually come through and force teams to continue that promise. Because what the fuck is the point then of going, yeah, I can qualify and then my team could just replace me?
But like, honestly though, like this whole, I like the idea. I think it's like a cool concept. But this whole, like, you have to play Premier to make it into like challengers is like very, very weird and foreign to me because no game I've ever played.
Format issues.
Bro, yeah, no game I've ever played has ever done a qualifier to join a league through the actual game. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. Like, I've been seeing so many fucking posts of like people like disconnecting and like not being able to join back in.
Oh my god!
Like, I don't.
Anderson just put a post like, about that. Anderson's team got fucked,
bro.
Yeah, I know.
The whole thing is just odd, man. Like,
yeah, it's not well thought out. Go figure. And I'm not gonna get in trouble, so I'm just gonna be like, all right, whatever.
No, but like, I like that they're trying to do new shit.
Sure.
Okay, I like that they're trying to do new shit, and what you're saying has merit. Like, if you're gonna do new shit, you need to have more clear. You need to have a more clear vision and guidelines on everything like this.
That's what I'm saying.
It's definitely something that should have been in consideration.
Yeah.
But as a player, bro,
yeah.
If I want to cut a teammate, I feel like I should have every right to cut a teammate because, I mean, bro, if I know that this guy is griefing me and it can't be fixed and I've done everything I could possibly fucking do to try to fix it, fuck that guy. I'm sorry. Fuck that guy. Be better.
I mean, fair, but you still qualified through our program.
Yeah, but bitch, I'm trying to stay in the league. I'm not trying to fucking join for a year, have to go back and into this relegation bullshit and lose to somebody that has a better player than me. Fuck that. I'd rather pick up the better player, better teammate, whatever it may be. The guy, like, fuck skill. Skill is irrelevant. Skill is irrelevant.
I understand
you know what I mean?
Coming from, yes.
Brother, even as a coach, bro, if you did everything you could do as a coach, and there's nothing more you could do, and you've really tried everything, you pulled out all the stops, bro, you're not keeping that fucking guy, bro. I'm sorry. You know that. You're not keeping that fucking guy. Bro.
I wouldn't. However,
you would not.
If Riot mandated that I did, I'd have to.
Okay, yes.
That's my point.
But I think in terms of competitive integrity and you okay, but I mean
that is exactly.
We're going back to format, but like I'm just saying from a standpoint of like trying to get the best competition.
Right, but at the end of the day, you came through a grueling, arduous system. You did qualify. You deserve your. I think no matter what, I cannot reconcile with the fact that to me, you deserve the right to be able to have your chance at the show if you make the show, and Riot should make that a prerequisite. Period.
All right,
done. Yeah. In my opinion,
I think they should. The
player
just
they
not
picked up
do
is
it.
good. He's shitting on everyone in India, but let's see what's going on. He played for like Revenant or something. But, so let's see.
All right. Last thing I wanted to talk about was this Lothar clip of not clip, but Lothar video of him talking about the picks and bans. It was like a response to like Yay, and I want to touch on a couple things. First of all, I don't even know how the picks and bans thing would go. I think it would be cool, and I think it's cool to have to force people to. First of all, I think it's good because all of a sudden, one tricks are going to be absolutely exiled from the league, which I think is very important.
And he used that as an argument as to why it's a bad idea because he says
I think it's a good idea.
So, all right. So let's talk about that. Right? He says players should be able to one trick and sacrifice 4,000 hours and be able to play. What I don't like about that is every single one trick, like for instance, Yay at one point was a one trick. They have to adapt. Period. Right?
Yeah.
He's now learning other roles and he's finding his place and he's doing all that shit. But like for the longest time, Ye was a jet. Then Chamber came out. Only a Chamber. Then after that, he had to evolve. So that's just happening anyway. Players have to learn anyway. He brings up like Sovas, right? How Sovas, if you're a one-trick Sova on every map and you have all these lineups, now you have to learn new lineups. Bro, this is what happens in the pros.
We're getting paid.
Like
we're getting paid.
We're
getting paid to play video games.
Like,
should be able to do this.
Bro, in 1 year, I've had Ban on Fade, Governor on Fade, Cruz on Fade. What are we talking? What are we talking about? I got Gov on Sova now. I got Ban fucking playing musical chairs on rolls. As a pro, this is just the shit we need to do. Like, so there's no, like...
I guess what I could say is, like, when you're thinking about picking up a hockey player, are you going to go for a guy that can only do a slap shot, or are you going to go for the guy that has a slap shot, a wrist shot, he can skate really well, really fast, back and forth? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If Ye's idea came into fruition with hero bans and etc., I think that the level of play over time would be so much higher because now you have players.
You have good players, not what we have now.
And not only do they have to, first of all, they have to be proficient on many different characters in their role. Keep in mind, like it's never gonna be like they don't have to play everything. There are roles in this fucking game, and there are many of different characters in the role, right? But now you have to think in game. How can I use this character in this comp efficiently? It's just it would raise the skill gap immensely high, and the skill gap would go super high.
And he said the opposite. Yeah. He said it would make the game worse because players would suck. And it's like, well, then those players suck.
Then they would get replaced by players that are good.
And it always reminds me of the player I had, which I keep telling you, that was like, oh, we don't ever want to be the one to innovate. Let's just copy what everyone else does. We don't want to look stupid. Yeah. And I just was like, that guy still has a career. Congratulations, by the way, because I signed you. But like, it's just insane to me that this is the perspective that a player had 4 years ago, and now Lothar is like, no, yeah, that's the right perspective, and I think so drastically different.
So here's the thing. This has already been done. This has legit already been done. in
Knights, right?
Overwatch. In Overwatch. No, this has already been done in Overwatch. Like, and here's the thing. You might think that, oh, it's just going to be random all the fucking time and whatever. What ends up happening is on these specific maps, because I think what Lothar said was, oh, you have certain characters that are necessary for these maps, right? You're going to have...
Like Jet on Ascent, he said, yeah.
Yeah, sure. But you're going to have mini metas already created. So it's not like there's not going to be consistency and it's just going to be a shit show the whole fucking time. That's not the case. You're going to have multiple different metas on different maps, depending on how the pick ban goes. Because this was done...
Right.
This was done in Overwatch.
People have used Yoru. They've used Phoenix. I've used Phoenix. Oh, we beat DRX. The DRX that made top 4 or whatever at Champs with Phoenix as my duelist.
Yeah. I think that it would create a higher skill gap in the league. I think that the competition would be higher. I think that it's another factor that you have to think about now in terms of like having to be...
You have to be really prepared.
Yeah, having to be prepared and adapt all the fight. Also have an actual good understanding of, hey, these guys are playing this. They banned this that we normally play. How can I use this composition to the maximum proficiency against this comp that they're running as well?
Right.
And I think that is a whole other aspect of the game that would be cool. Now, there was one thing that I did agree with him on, and that is if Riot did create these maps, and I don't know, he might know. I don't really know about this, but if they created certain maps with the thought of, hey, this agent would be good on this map. Okay, I can see now. Okay, why would we have picks and bans? Because they clearly want to force a certain meta. But I don't think that, and I think that you agreed with me. I don't know if they're thinking about it like that. I think they're just creating a map that.
But even if they were, as a developer, you don't know how people are going to use your program. Right, you may have a completely different idea for a design.
Yeah, and it could be
completely the user
completely off.
See something else and says, "Oh, this is awesome for this reason."
Yeah, there's no way that they thought that Cypher on Sunset was going to be as strong as it is. Because I'm sorry, if you're running, I mean, okay, obviously you had PRX run the Sage, but in general, if you play fucking the game at all in ranked or whatever it may be, Cypher is probably like fucking 90, 95, 99% pick, bro. Yeah. I've barely seen anybody else play anything other than Cypher. Like, you're not seeing Killjoy ever played on Sunset.
No.
That is not one. I don't think I've seen a single pro match of that. And if they did, they probably lost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like that, the chips are too proficient on that map. So if you did have picks and bans, you could force a different fucking meta on these stale maps, which is good for the game. Now, you could argue maybe there should just be a rotation of balance changes that happen. So there are more metas. And then
Lothar,
you don't have picks and bans, by the way, you know?
Lothar's DRX. So he's a content creator for DRX now.
I see.
But it tells me, I'm not sure he watches a lot of APAC games. Because he's also like, you know, putting in the effort to figure out shit wouldn't happen anymore, right? Nobody would do complicated strats because of the bans, right? So then, in my opinion, they should just go play CSGO. And also, I don't think he watched a single Talon game all year. Because we literally used different on Lotus. We had 4 comps. 3 of them were some variation of Neon. Right? So, 5 comps. Because we have Fanatics, Double Smokes, Neon Cypher, and then Neon with Killjoy, and then Neon with None, which is a conversation for a different day. The point I'm trying to make is, okay, ban Neon. What would Talon have done? Fnatic comp or the Deadlock 2 Smokes? Okay. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it's interesting to me because the perspective is like, oh shit, the game's going to be worse. But it forces the players to get better, and it actually allows players that are better and are smarter and are more prepared to actually play the game rather than somebody that became a master for one season on one character. Look at, no disrespect, Ye, Demon 1, all these guys that y'all said is like the king, and then all of a sudden, meta changes, nerf happens, they're gone. Why do you think they were gone? Because they spent their 4K hours, and the moment that they got adjusted, or they had to get adjusted to something else, everyone in the league caught up. That means you're not that much better than them. That just means you found a niche that is cool. But when you play a MOBA, which we talk about this a lot, people think Valorant is Counter-Strike, and it's not. It has MOBA elements to it. And when you do that, banning is a natural evolution of the game. And if you can only play one agent in the role, you're not a good player. That's what I've said to even the best players, right?
Yeah.
Like, Ye, that was my conversation with Ye when I made that group I told you about, where I was like, yo, you need to learn how to play Sentinel. You need to evolve. You need to play Raze. You need to. So I like fundamentally disagree with so much of it. On one end, it makes me even more frustrated about our champs run, because that narrative would have been on the forefront, how you can't play against these guys. You can't anti-strat them because they have so many different comps and they're so flexible.
Yeah.
But we weren't able to do it. On the other end, I think it's an inevitability that this is not only going to happen, but also that this will, in my opinion, make the game better. And for all the points he mentions as strengths, I think they're all weaknesses to his argument. So I agree with Ye wholeheartedly about this, because there's a team in the league that acts like that now. Me, our team. We take, I mean, look at, we talked about Vitality, right? We took Safe. Go back and look at that series. Safe wasn't even a player he wasn't even in the server. Trex, booing ass. We didn't see him coming. But our whole game plan was to stop Safe. And we did that. We actually did that. We thought we should have won doing that. Now, there were other reasons and and Trex just put foot in ass. But I'm doing that now. But instead of banning Safe's Neon, we just countered it. How is that not the same thing? I don't need to ban it. I can just counter it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So This is what I'm saying. It's like, it's just, I thought it was very strange that someone like him, who seems to be very analytical and thoughtful, was so against this. But I'm okay, obviously, with his opinion. Like, first off, everybody can join in on this conversation and have their opinions. That's cool. I have no smoke for Lothar at all. None at all. This doesn't even make me change any of my opinions towards him at all. I'm just surprised that someone who normally seems on the cutting edge of like pushing limits feels like this is like too far, when I feel like it's kind of already here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was very weird. And also, for draw preservation, this is why most players don't like coaches and don't like people that force them on new roles and agents. Because they're notably worse. It takes a lot more work. And a lot of pros I've been around, the moment practice is over, they'd rather do something else other than Valorant. However, that's true. If in a system like this, you can't do that. Because if you're not mastering something else, you're one ban away from just being useless.
True.
So.
True. All right. I mean,
yeah, I was actually surprised Ye said it at all.
I don't know how the game. I don't know how the game would look with picks and bans. I don't know if it would be healthy for it, but I do think that there needs to be more meta changes, but with enough time for teams to actually be able to adapt.
I think
and
the game,
not it be like during a tournament.
The game is already
remember
there.
How like
the game is already there, because what would people do today
agents,
right
though?
now?
Like I feel like there's some agents that are just useless, but is that just useless because certain ones are just way too strong and they're not
Riot
banned?
doesn't.
It's a long combo.
Riot doesn't do what IceFrog does in Dota.
It's a tough one.
They don't like incrementally make changes.
Yeah.
Like in Dota, you'd have somebody getting like 5 armor for 7 patches. And then eventually somebody figures out, wait, he has 25 more armor. Wait, what if I buy this item first instead of the one everyone uses? And then that guy just a lane monster, and now he's meta, and people don't realize it took 6 patches for this to happen. Riot is sort of like, I mean, look at ISO. ISO was around for 1 week, and then they killed him. Like, that's this is what I'm saying. Like, but right now, people would do what? They'd ban Neon. Right now, people's first ban, I think, would be Neon.
Neon is so stupid, bro.
Right, but then what would we do?
Oh, my God.
Jet, Raze, insert all these others. What if my second ban, what if they didn't pick a duelist yet? My second ban is another duelist, is Jet. That means they have to play Raze, Phoenix, Neon. So it forces the other team to pick. Again, it comes down to strategy. And the reason why good coaches that ultimately are good drafters would pick more versatile players, like, for instance, Governor, is because he could play everything. Ban, because he could play everything. Instead of, no disrespect, Saya player. Some people might think Saya player is better until you get a system like this, and it's like, wait, you can't even pick this guy because he can only do like 2 things. If you ban him out, he's Admiral Bulldog from Dota 2.
Did Saya ever end up finding a new team?
No, he tried out for GE and got bodied.
Damn, I feel bad, bro. Like,
me too. But
he was fucking nice, bro. He was nice when I would.
He was just mismanaged and mishandled by T1 early on when they went to North America. Then
Isn't
he got
crazy. Like if he stayed on G2, like
situations matter, bro. Situations matter.
It's insane in this game.
I keep telling you.
One bad decision. Maybe it's been like this all along in esports.
It has.
One bad decision can
in life
fuck you, because even when before Tex joined G2, like me and some of the other G2 what was it, the guard, me and some of the guard guys at the time were like potentially talking about me even joining them. And like I even thought about that. Like in my head, I was like, dude, if I was on that fucking roster, like I know G2's the type of team to like make their duelists succeed. Man, I would have fucking clapped, bro. Like even then I was thinking, and that was the year. That was my last year playing, I think. But like that year is when the guard won it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they ended up getting
situations are incredibly important, bro. And it's like,
dude, that one decision, I probably would have still been in the league. I mean, well, you don't know for sure. Like, it's
right,
like the same thing as me being like, I don't know if I would have been as good as Ye on Optic when I had that opportunity, right?
Yeah,
you don't really know.
Webs will never know, right? Like, after 100 Thieves.
I've seen G2 though.
Yeah.
Hella duelists succeed.
Yo.
Whether that was Tech, Saya, Icy.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck me, bro. Like, telling me I wouldn't have clapped, bro. For sure, bro.
I know. I believe, like we talked about, I believe that even after 100 Thieves, the first team I wanted to go to was you guys, FaZe.
Oh, that would have clapped too. Yeah, exactly.
Right after that LCQ, I was like, bro, if I go to that team, I'll just mop this other one, chilling. Right? It's just like you never know how these things can work.
Esports, baby.
Yeah, that shit happens. It's just kind of unfortunate, I think, but to my knowledge, so far, as a guy that has come from a MOBA background and then had CS success and then Crossfire and then Valorant success, I think bans would be perfect for this game because you have a lot of people that I think are professionals because of mechanics. Mm-hmm. That will be over. Now, game IQ and versatility will become much more important, which in my opinion makes the games more exciting, because right now if you look at certain maps, there's a defined meta. There's only a handful of teams that are breaking the meta, right? Heretics is the most successful one, right?
Yeah.
You got us, you got sometimes Leviathan, you have but for the most part all 3 VCT leagues are copycat leagues. That's because you can't ban agents away. It would be even better, by the way, not just bans, but guess what? If I pick, you can't pick.
Oh, shit. That would be... I think we need more agents for that.
Fair, but that is a MOBA.
Yeah.
That's basically like, if I pick Jet, you can't pick Jet. I think eventually that's where it should be. And I think that's where you will get the more fun Valorant to play and the better viewing experience, because everything will be fresh.
Would be cool.
Yeah.
Would definitely be cool.
It's also really hard. And if not, it's okay. Just go to Deadlock. That's it. And then you'll be fine. That's it. I'm lucky.
That's the title of the episode. Just go to Deadlock.
Oh, no, don't make that the title. That's tough.
I know, I'm trolling. All right. I think that's a good point to end on. And then also, Lothar, if you do watch this, I think we would love to have you on the show. I think you think of things in a cool way, similar and different at the same time. So we should definitely get you on here, talk about the game, chop it up. And we got absolutely no beef with you. We don't even know you like that, bro.
Oh, no. For sure. No. It's just Yeah. The notion that things are great as they are is just weird.
I think it would be a good debate to have, like, honestly. I think it would be cool. Like,
oh, you want to do a debate show?
maybe,
You want to wear
bro,
a
it might
suit
be
too?
cool.
You want me to
bro.
wear a suit? Me and Lothar, suit to suit?
That'd be
Just-
pretty cool. Like, you guys just going at it, and me being like the person that's like, I
Yeah, the
just
mediator?
I pick like a side or something.
I think that would be
I've never
terrible.
seen
But-
Hector in anything formal.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
bro.
right, bitch. Get used to it. What you mean?
I don't think I've seen Hector wear a belt.
You're lucky I'm doing this shit now. Hector never did interviews or podcasts.
That
Now all of
was-
a sudden,
He's wearing his
I'm
formal
getting in trouble
baseball
for-
gear.
yeah. Oh yeah, fuck the Yankees.
GG's, bro. All right, everybody. Congrats to, the Dodgers for winning the Super Bowl. No, I'm playing. I know. I'm joking. That was a big troll. I wonder how many people I'm going to trigger with that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go Dodgers, bro. All right.
Go Dodgers.
Everybody, thank
Peace
you
out.
for having us. Drop a comment below on what you want us to talk about. I know it's been a while, etc. Let us know if you want Lothar to come on the podcast, etc. Send him clips too so he can see this and whatnot. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back again next week, bro. We're back on our regular schedule, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hi. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out, bro.